Is there music playing on this?
Oh yeah. Oh no, actually, we're not muted. This is crazy.
We're just talking.
That's wild. I just fucking. Oh man, I love it, bro. This is fantastic.
Nobody's anything really bad. We're gonna act like we go live.
Welcome to the Capture the Magic Orange Grove Network.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, what's up? We know what we're doing around here. All right. No way I in no way, shape, or form am using a different streaming software than usual. No, actually I am, because the one I was using before, StreamYard, because Orange Grove 55 is also dual casting this on Orange Grove 55. And before, on the streaming platform I was using, you had to manually set it up, and it was causing a bunch of issues. And then you were just like, well, why don't you just try StreamYard? And then it's a similar system, but it's different. So I'm used to an intro video that just automatically mutes you. This one does not. So I don't think anybody said anything bad there, but hopefully everybody's having a nice evening. Welcome to another edition of Theme Parkin. Joining with some great gentlemen here. We'll say hi to the chat real quick. We got Pandora 576, Mischief Dragon says hello. Got Kika and Luca. What is up? And then we have Lucas and Disney says they are talking while countdown was happening. This is true. This is true. I realized when we were like, I heard no music, and I was like, maybe there's nothing coming through. And then I think I heard somebody sneeze. I'm like, oh, don't do anything bad here. Then we got Foxglove Fairy says, hey guys, what's up? And we have Mr. Tech Bear says, Daddy's home. Well, Daddy is home in many ways. But welcome to the show. I am. We have some good topics. We're going to talk about Disney price increases, which is the annual celebration right before Christmas of price increases, both Disney World and Disneyland. So they were fair in that sense. We'll also talk about, it's been a few weeks since we've done Theme Parkin. We've got some updates on Stardust Racers. We'll get some thoughts on that. I'm curious what you guys think about kind of what's happened there since the last time we talked. And then I do want to talk about Christmas at Epic Universe, because I think they're doing some stuff this year, but man, I think that park has a lot of potential and some stuff they could do. And then I think we're also going to hit the fact that apparently Elon and Bob Iger, I don't think they're friends, but you had Tron. Well, you had, Tesla bots at the Tron Ares premiere, which was terrifying and odd. And I have an idea what you could do with the bots there of a new show you could do. So we'll talk about all these things and then whatever else pops up here. But I am joined, as usual, by my great co-host here. We have Orange Grove 55. Sir, thank you for being here on the channel. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I love talking shop with you, gentlemen. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Slime Square. Yeah, you can find me right here, Orange Grove 55, right here on YouTube, talking theme parks with these fine gentlemen, talking movies, studio. I mean, dude, we even talk about crazy stuff like, did aliens build the pyramids? We get into all kinds of stuff. So subscribe if you are not subscribed. And yeah, thank you for having me, Jared. Appreciate it, man.
Of course. And Slimer and I, we opposed each other, and we still are friends. Because I think there's weird stuff. And Slimer's like, no, they just built it. And then, we called each other names and we just shook hands and moved on. We should go. But we also have joined by Mr. Slime Square. Slimer, thank you for being here. Where can everybody find you and your now I can't think of the word, your comedic Instagram and Twitter outlets?
Right. No, hey, thanks very much for having me again. It's another week of Theme Parkin. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much for joining. You guys make the the conversations really fun. But as far as you can find me on Instagram at Slimesquare84. That's where you find theme park reels. And then if you're into some parody, you can check me out on X at Slimesquare84. And that's more roasting than anything else. So I like to roast, major theme park news that's going around the theme park community. Some of you guys take yourselves a little too seriously. So if you guys like some lighthearted fun, go check out my X.
That's awesome. Yes. Well, round of applause for everybody here. It's a great time. We got a celebrity in the house. We got Drunk 3PO. What's up, Drunk 3PO? So shout out OG55. See, OG, he got a new haircut and everything. I can tell. He looked all clean cut. Although I shave my head daily, and I got new razors, and they're amazing. I got Harry's, and those things are. It's like shaving your head with butter.
I use Harry's. That's what I use on my face. In fact, I actually just used a Harry's.
Oh, you're smooth. See, I haven't shaved my face in like a decade, but I just started shaving. I shave my head just because it's easier. But I was using like those Amazon ones, and they kept raising the prices of them. And they were just, it felt like I was using sandpaper. And I was like, and they had them on sale at Costco. So I got some Harry's, and I was like, oh my gosh, these 19 razors at a time on your head move. They shave it smooth. I enjoy it. But all right, let's get into our first topic here. Okay, I know how to share screens. I'll figure this out. Let's see. Hold on. Don't tell me, Chris. There we go. I figured it out.
There you go.
I'll get there eventually. All right. So as it's not, it's been talked about before. Disney raised prices kind of everywhere across the board.
Oh yeah.
Basic annual passes, day tickets, food is now up as well. They even took away magic bands when you book a hotel. That is no longer discounted at all. Parking increased. What else increased? Am I missing anything? I know you guys out in Disneyland had your magic keys increase as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Food prices have increased.
Food prices went up. So basically, when it comes to day tickets, the high end is up to over $200, except for Animal Kingdom. And they even raised prices at Animal Kingdom, which you would assume that was the one park you may not raise prices because, that park's going to have like 5 things to do for about 4 to 5, 6 years, maybe. We'll see how long it takes.
Well,
then, go ahead.
Drunk 3PO is saying the ear's also gone up.
Well, of course. Ears have to go up. That makes sense.
That's wild. But here's the thing too, Jared. When it comes to Animal Kingdom, are all the ticketing, all the pricing for all the parks the same? Because I was actually talking on my channel about this kind of recently about how, because the chat was asking, why don't they lower the price of DCA, because it's going to be a construction site for a few years, right? Now, my argument is like, you really can't do that, because if Disney were to lower the price of, say, DCA or lower the price of, say, Animal Kingdom, you're kind of admitting it's a lesser value. Right. And they'll never really do that. They're going to pretend like, hey, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? And keep going. I think that's kind of the mindset their perspective.
I agree. They should. They won't. They also don't want, say, Animal Kingdom to be looked upon as a secondary park. So even though like raising prices there is kind of crazy, that's just how they're going to view it. I think undoubtedly. Let me try to find. They did. So the tickets aren't across the board at the Disney World parks, and Blog Mickey's website doesn't organize this stuff. Well, I know that basically all the parks are up to $209 per day on the high end. Epcot's only that day for New Year's Eve, I suppose, if you want to be there then. Then the high end for Animal Kingdom is 184, I believe. So they left it at 119 on the low end. But basically everything went up $10 when you're talking about day tickets. And then on the annual passes, 5% on the Incredipass. Now that's over $1,600. Sorcerer Pass is over $1,000. Pirate Pass is $869. Let's see. Pixie Dust Pass is $489. Just across the board, everything up. Even renewal prices went up as well. Now this is not surprising, but I think it's interesting given how much press Disney has gotten the past. And Drunk said, yeah, parking went up to, you guys had parking go up to $40.
Yeah.
Ours, I think
35.
35, yeah.
But it's interesting though. It's interesting though, in terms of like the other stuff, like parking, in terms of like food and merch and all that stuff. Once you're in Disney or once you're in Universal, the pricing is very comparable. Like I was just at Universal, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Yesterday. Sorry, the days all blend together. But and the parking is like $35, $40 there too. And then you get in the park and you're still paying $13 for the beer, and you're paying, this is a $15 cupcake and the whole thing. So once you're in, they're pretty much all like the industry standard. But man, those tickets though, that's where they get you.
What's interesting is Disney actually is not as bad on food pricing as Universal can get. Sometimes like the Shrek pretzel in the DreamWorks land, I think that thing's like $13 for a pretzel with green cheese. Like some of the Epic Universe food is up there, but you can actually, when it comes to theme park food, Disney's actually still rather reasonable, because like SeaWorld's another one where their food is very high price for what it is. We went to SeaWorld twice. We took our kids last year, and I was shocked. Like their parking was $45, I think, and the food, and they try and do that pass where you like, when they have a food festival, they want you to buy that like upfront pass to make it all cheaper. So you pay like $75, then you get like 10 things or something like that. But basically everything went up. Now it's not, if you've been around Disney, it's not shocking. It's annoying if you go and things like that. But the interesting thing about it is the timing, I think. So it's twofold, where you have a lot more press about the Disney price increases the past few years, like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, like all these places talking about it. And then on top of the fact that you have tons of construction at a time period where you're going to have 3 parks under construction for the foreseeable future. Let's just say 5 at least 5+ years. I don't think Villains Land's done well into 2030s, is my opinion. And you're also like, I think that can be a definite hamper on your attendance in this next coming time period, just given that people don't want to deal with construction zones. They may, and if Universal is already impacting them on their attendance with Epic Universe, that could compound that issue going forward as well. So I find it interesting because I think at the same time they're still going to be running discounts. So it's like a strange optics. Like, it's not surprising, but it's a strange optic to be raising prices, but then they're already running deals into 2026. And I think that's how they'll compete in the short term, especially while they're building all the stuff they're building. Are you guys shocked by any of this? Like, I'm not, but I don't know if you guys are surprised by any of this or not.
No, I mean, I've been around this stuff for a long time, and it seems like every October, pretty much, they go up. Now, to varying degrees, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But here's the scary part. If they're raising them this much right now, what are the prices for, say, Disneyland Resort and for Walt Disney World? What are these annual passes and Magic Keys going to look like in 5 years when all the big stuff is open?
That's what I brought up on our podcast. I was like, dude, I think by the time in 5 years, I think you're easily looking 250 plus, maybe.
Possibly.
Right.
Well, and what it's going to do is going to incentivize you to stay a lot longer, because ideally what they like you to do is look at a single day ticket price and then look at their 3-day park pass or 2-day park pass and say, well, I can spend $5 or $10 more and I can get a lot more value by staying at the resort. And then all of a sudden you get into this mentality where now you're justifying, let me see how much a hotel costs for a couple of nights. And then boom, they've got you for 2 to 3 days. And what you've really done is you've actually increased your spending by several magnitudes more versus just going for a single day. And I'll tell you, that's happened to me several times. So I know this method works. Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago where I actually went. I was in Orlando, had to do some training, and I said, well, let me just pop into Walt Disney World, kind of check it out. Ended up going to the Magic Kingdom. I was originally just going to get a single day. They were like $199 for a single day. I was like, okay, fine. How much is it for the Pirate Pass? $205. Okay, well, it's still $205 down. I was like, well, let me just go ahead and put the $205 down, spend the extra $5 today, and I'll just finance the rest later. And so
Right.
the upcharge strategy is absolutely something that works. And a lot of people think, well, they do the math in their head, right? Which is always so accurate.
Like
let me just do that. Yeah, let me do the Disney girl math, and boom, they hit you. And next thing you know, you're in a commitment.
Well, and I think, like, most people, to be fair, are not buying single day tickets. Like, some do, but for the most part, like, that part doesn't. Although I still see people that go up and buy tickets at the booth and like they show up the day of. It's like, it's always amazes me. But you do have locals and things like that. But it's just that thing where I do wonder what the ceiling is, because at the same time they raise Lightning Lane prices also. And then you also have the fact that it was reported this summer that most of the theme park attendance at Universal and Disney was basically propped up by the top earners. So basically the middle class is getting cut out of this, which has historically been the class that has, I would argue, built Disney World into what it is. It's probably the middle class taking frequent vacations. And so you have the optics of it. But from a business standpoint, I mean, it's like the Halloween parties and the Christmas parties. If people are still paying it, from a business standpoint, it's like, it's hard to fault them from that end. My main beef about it is, while prices have been going up, the perks have not followed it. And I do think when you're going after this high earner class that also has options. And I think if your perks aren't there and they have options, and if they go and they're like, I felt nickel and dimed, it was okay, they may go to Paris for 2 years. Like, they have a lot of different things they can do. And if they hit that point where, and I do believe at some point you hit a point where people aren't going to pay something. Now, what they're going to find out what that is, we'll see in the next few years. But when that happens, or if and when it happens, what is their pivot? Because if they hit that point in the next 5 years before all this stuff is done, that's going to be a very interesting little predicament they're in, of trying to get attendance in while they don't have any of the new stuff, open. Like this, they'll probably have Encanto, part of it will be open, but 2027 maybe, we'll see when they do that. But like, Villains Land's not going to be way off into the future. So like, that's the thing. Hopefully. I think about long term of like, what is their pivot points and what could they even really do outside of discounts if they hit that point where people are like, I'm out, that's too much. Like, you got to talk about perks, stuff like that.
Yeah, Starship says they'll pull the levers. They'll lower when they need to. They'll raise when they need to. They'll do that whole game, you know. And here's the thing. I would agree with you, Jared. I think there is onus on the consumer. I think that
Yeah.
look, I made the analogy before. You know, if I have a lemonade stand and I'm charging $40 a glass and I got a line around the block, what's the incentive for me to lower my lemonade prices? Zero. Like people are buying it like crazy, right? So people still buy this Disney thing up like crazy, despite the fact, I was just there a few days ago and it was packed. And this is right after all those price increases. And I'm like, this is why Disney has zero motivation to really listen, because I mean, yeah, the people are going to complain on social media and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, everyone still kind of does it, you know.
Falls on deaf ears when they're looking at lines, and you know, somebody posted it today in X, and they posted the lines both at Universal Studios and Disney, and they were both extremely packed. I mean, I think the line for Universal Studios, it was going out the entrance, and then
at like 300 minutes, I think.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 rides had almost 300-minute wait times, and I said in the comments, I said, you know, do balloons come out of the ceiling when it hits 300, like when you score 300 when you're bowling? Because I mean, I wouldn't celebrate if it hits 300 if that's the case. But yeah, the lines were ridiculous at both parks. So it's funny that just going off of the price hikes, which were effective immediately, again, the parks are busy. And so if people aren't voting with their wallets, which again, I think the onus on people to vote with their wallets is really unrealistic. Like if you think about it, Disney's been increasing park prices for 70 years. And for 70 years, their attendance has been growing incrementally year over year. And the only dips have ever been through like very strenuous economic circumstances, like maybe the 70s, COVID, and like that's it. Other than that, attendance has been escalating. So to expect behavior to change when there has been a consistent 7-year trajectory, I just don't see it.
Well,
you know,
Disney doesn't care about it. They haven't cared about attendance since 2020. Because if you look at them, like their attendance will stay stagnant many quarters, but the revenue goes up because of the price increases.
Right.
So, and they also don't report attendance numbers either. And I agree with Drunk here. He says the after-hour tickets are still the best bang for your buck, in my opinion. If you're not an annual pass holder, I do agree. You get like if you go to like a Magic Kingdom after hours, you can ride everything in there multiple times. You get the food and drink included and things like that. And I agree with Webba. Do these people have hidden extra spending income from a secret job I'm not aware of? That's a question I have. I mean, it's like I think Drunk brought up too about that new Santa dining experience that's $200 per person. I did a video on it. If I took my family with the gratuity and the tax, it was like $950. I'm like, Santa, that better be the real Santa. You better give me like, I want all my presents. I want all the presents I didn't get as a child. I better get a lot more than just a little hour of like a little upcharge dining experience. But there's obviously a people out there that can afford this and will. My whole thesis on this is I just think you hit a point to where, especially as you've stripped away the perks, and I think there's an argument to be made if while the prices increased because they had the demand in 2018, 2019, clearly that's when they shifted after COVID because people were complaining about the parks being busy. And if you were there during that time period, like there was never a downtime. I don't know how it was in Disneyland, but it was constantly busy.
It was bad.
So obviously supply and demand kicks in. You raise prices. That's going to reduce the amount of people that want to come in. They start making money off charging for the lightning lanes and all that stuff. But if you take those perks away, it's not going up with the prices. I don't care what business you are. At some point, you can outprice the demand. And I just don't know what that is, but that's also when you're doing incrementally, because if you would have had these price increases, you had the 2018 or the 2019 prices to now at one period, that's where it'd be sticker shock. Nobody would do it, but it's just this boiling frog where it's slower and slower. And I just wonder what that is, like where that price point is, and then what is their reaction to it, especially with like a new CEO coming in next year, probably going to be tomorrow. And depends on how this stuff goes over that's built at Disney. That's just kind of where I'm at with it of, there will people that will pay it, but once you get up there, it's like, you got to start bringing some of those perks back.
Yeah, they have to. No, they absolutely have to. And it's kind of like, it's like out here in California where it's like, these Magic Keys, if you're a California resident, you can pay monthly on it. So it's like they jack these prices up and it's only like an extra, $10 a month or something. Right. So it's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's still
Well, it's like
doable.
streaming stuff too. Everything goes up $5. So, you know, then sometimes people are like, okay, I'm done. Like I was telling you guys before, I canceled Spotify because I was like $13 a month. And I was like, I barely use the thing. And I was finally just like, I'm not paying any more for it. And then I forgot I had Amazon Music that's already included. So I was like, I'll just use that. But it's like, I think individually people will fall off for various reasons. And then, but this is also why I like competition. Now, Universal is not like a discount option, but I do think they're servicing a lot of the need that Disney, I don't think cares to shed attendance as long as they're making more money, which obviously that's going to benefit Universal if those people come over there. But I do think objectively, from my point of view, I think Universal does give you more value for what you are paying, especially on the annual pass holder side. I can't speak to the tickets because I haven't bought individual tickets at Universal or Disney in years. But I do like competition for that reason. But it's just all this is like, I don't know. I just look at this and I the same way. I think in 5 years, I'm like, where are these going to be? Like, where are they going to be in 10 years? How quickly it went from under like barely $100 to over $200 was less than like, what was that? 5 years? Well, a decade technically when you look at that.
Well, yeah, no, and I feel like Disney almost wants lower attendance because what they want are like high rollers, like ballers at these parks, right? That spend a lot of money, but less people because now they're making a lot more money from richer people and they don't have to have as many cast members staffed in their parks because there's less people though. So it's like the best of both worlds. You're saving on labor and you're also making a lot because you have, you know, it's the upper echelon, you know, it's no longer the middle class, you know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win for them. You know, that's why I think you're like you were saying, Jared, there's less of a focus on those attendance numbers. They really kind of don't care. They make more money. Go ahead, Jared.
And this was a winning strategy too, because before that, it was all about the attendance numbers. I mean, if you went in 2019 was absolutely the worst, probably the worst year when it comes to attendance because they were playing the attendance game. Yeah. And anybody that went in 2019 can tell you, like, it was miserable. Like, it didn't matter what time of year there was. And this was around the time when we started getting away from like good times to go throughout the year and bad times to go throughout the year. And then it just all became a mess. Didn't matter what
it was all just like an 8 or a 10 every single day you went.
Everything was an 8 or a 10. I mean, you can look at TripAdvisor's, or not TripAdvisor, but what is that one website we utilize for
touring plans?
Touring plans. Thank you. You go back and look at touring plans and look at the record. It's terrible. So of course, you know, there has to be a solution to this. The only solution is to raise prices. And it's like, well, you know, you got to have one or the other. Either they're going to raise prices and lower attendance, or they're going to keep, you know, the price is the same. And we're going to continue to have ridiculous levels of attendance that drive the quality of the experience down through the floor. So, you know, like you can't have your cake and eat it too. But at the same time, like Jared is saying, you have to also now bring value, which is why I think that it's real important that Josh tomorrow put a timeline on when he's going to bring these new experiences to Walt Disney World and any new experiences are advertised and announced for Disneyland, because with the price increases have to come an increase in value. And if it's not going to be through smaller perks like Magical Express or, you know, discounting, the wristbands, obviously they took away the discount. So that's not the direction they're going. Then it has to be through entertainment, right? I mean, that's the only way you're going to increase the value. So it's really important that Josh hits these timelines.
Well, I'd also say raising prices is one thing. Try to let the poors go to Busch Gardens or Six Flags. You know, hey, I'll get some of the comments here in a minute. I'm just seeing when they pop in. But what was I saying? What did you just finish saying? I had a point. And
oh no, I was saying is you have to increase the prices to lower attendance so that way you can balance out the quality experience. Yeah.
You can also at the same time you increase your supply, and I think they're. Well, you can argue they're replacing their supply with something that maybe has more demand is maybe the thinking, but they haven't actually expanded the parks like many people have wanted them to, outside of what they'll do with Villains Land. It's very, I don't know. I always look at things with a long view of where trends are. And I think when you're looking at Orlando, I had a video the other day, you looking at using AI to kind of look at the next 5 to 10 years. And I think what you're heading toward is a scenario where you basically have Universal and Disney as co-leaders. I think in a decade, you're considered a co-leader in a market when you're around 40%, maybe 35, 40%, somewhere around there. I think that's what it's heading towards. And I'm really curious if Disney looks at that and they kind of realize we can't really, Universal's not going to go back to how they were in 2008. Like that reality is gone. Like they're now going to become a bigger competitor. They're obviously doing more things. So they just decided we're going to go on this higher end, this higher echelon, focus on the revenues and not be obsessed with the attendance numbers and kind of just play it that way. Because obviously in that scenario, Universal is going to continue to increase in their market share. They're going to increase their revenue also. And then Orlando in Florida is just growing more and more with tourism also. So you kind of have this scenario. Now, I think in both ways, what was funny, I in that video, I played it out. Even in Disney's best case scenario, Universal still gains market share, but Disney revenues go kind of wild. But I think if there is an economic boom or rebound, I think you're going to see Disney and Universal just explode. I think they'll have just massive quarters. And so all of this, and I think this is the thing, if there's a downturn, Disney's pricing becomes a really big issue. Even if people that are making decent money out there or more money, at some point you hit a point where they're just like, I'm not going to go as much. Like it could hit them a little bit. But if everybody has discretionary income, it's like it was in 2018, 2019. They'll make money hand over fist. This probably won't be that big of a deal. But I think the timing of it during all this, and I was telling you guys in the private chat, I think where a lot of people, everything's gotten so expensive anyway. People can't buy homes. People can barely afford to live. And now it's just like even the thought of a vacation is just like escaping you because that's becoming too expensive also.
It's crazy.
And I think that's where it just comes to the psyche of your consumer base and how it makes people feel. But at the same time, from a business standpoint, if they're making money, they don't care until they care. And that's the thing I guess I would say is like, do they hit a point in the next few years where they end up having to care about that? And then what? Because I don't think they're going to lower prices outside of running discounts and packages. But I think that's where you see Magical Express come back into the picture. That's where you see a lot of these things they used to do because they're forced to. And I think that would be a good thing if they hit that point. But as of right now, they really haven't hit any point other than just criticism of why they would change it. But from a financial standpoint, it's difficult to fault it from that end.
Yeah. And by the way, if you haven't watched the video where you go through AI's results and their analysis on what the possible scenarios are, go ahead and watch that video when you're done because it's really good. I don't think you're going to get any better insight than having artificial intelligence crunch possibilities based off of information you tell it, the information that you give it, and then you tell it to spit out back at you. But yeah, make sure you watch that video after this one. I think that was a really good one.
Well, I appreciate it. Was just an idea I had, and then I found out also people have really strong feelings. I got a lot of people just mad I used AI. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's good at crunching numbers. Listen, I wasn't going to hire an accountant to do it, so it's not like I was taking a job away. And if I did it, who knows the accuracy? It would be all over the place if I was crunching numbers.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Jared. I don't use AI for everything, but I've always, since I started my channel almost a decade ago now, I've always done my own thumbnails. So now I use AI to do my thumbnails. A lot of them are AI, but it's like I'm only taking my own job. I was making them before, and now I'm just doing AI. So no one lost a job here. But if I ever have like graphics and stuff, like more complex stuff, I always use a human being because that stuff I never did on my own. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I never replace anybody, but if there's tools at my disposal that I can make it a little easier, especially the amount of content that we all produce, any shortcut we can have kind of helps out getting those videos out sooner. So
I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of fun making AI images of things, it's a lot. You can go down the rabbit hole really quickly. When Sora was good, when it first had the beta, it's not as good now. Sora's kind of fallen off because you can't do anything now without hitting some sort of copyright or something. But yeah, you can do some fun stuff with those. Let's see, I'm gonna go catch up on some of the comments here. Luca and Dizzy says spending a lot of money for events and venues such as Savvy's when you are having a poor experience due to crowds or even time you can't really manage, that brings more negative reviews. True, that's very true. Let's see, him name is 6502. I'm close. Those addicted to Disney are not going to be phased or affected by price hikes. They'll go to any and all links to get there. There is a segment that will. There is. I just wonder. Yeah, I mean, that's what's curious. I think Disney's an interesting brand. They have decades and decades of nostalgia, generational, all this stuff built up that goes into their brand. Because I think a lot of things Disney does, other brands couldn't get away with necessarily because they just don't have that the emotion attached to it, I think. And somebody said it really good on one of our in our podcast side. They said more and more, like, these are people that go to Disney all the time, and they said more and more I feel like I'm not a guest, but I'm a customer.
Right.
And it might be a slight thing, but I do think as people feel that more, I do think that becomes something that it's not like, it's going to fall off a cliff, but it's like it could just see this descending thing where the value's not there. And that's why I like what Universal's or somebody else. I still think there could be somebody else with deep pockets, and Amazon and Apple, Netflix houses are popping up that comes into the themed entertainment space with all the money that it can make. But,
and you bring up a great point, Jared. You bring up a great point where, like, Disney is like a pseudo religion to a lot of people out there. How many? I mean, people talk about it all the time. Disney adults, right? I mean, there is a segment of the population that will literally, max out their credit cards to make sure they can keep going, and that's fine. Everyone that's their own thing. I'm not judging. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the reality is that it's a very deeply emotional product. So I mean, I think it's going to take a lot to really get people, to say I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, Justin, it was awesome meeting you yesterday. I got to meet Justin yesterday at Universal Studios Hollywood, and I ran into him. Really cool guy, and he actually has a great YouTube channel as well. So everybody go check him out on YouTube. So show some love.
Check him out. Lucas and Disney says, I am middle class. I'm not fazed by this at all. Well, I mean, Mr. Moneybags. I'm just kidding. The people who claim middle class back then are no longer middle class, have never been one. No offense. That's just the reality. We live in Florida. Well, I mean, as things get more expensive, choices have to be made. And I think when you're talking about spending, there's a segment that will spend themselves into debt to do that. And then you have a segment that they're, if you got family and you got kids, you're trying to make things balance. At the very least, people don't go as often, which I also think that's what Disney wants, is you to go less. And so that clears out people. So clearly that's what they want, but it's like that thing they want right now, but do they end up liking it 10, 15 years down the road? That's been my whole thing. I have no arguments on the short term about any of this, because clearly they've made tons of money off that data leak last year. They almost made $1 billion off of lightning lanes since they introduced it. Right. So they made a ton of cash doing it this way. But it's just that, and this is why I think with Universal, if they continue what they're doing, which I think they will, they're both going to be expensive, but they're both going to have to compete on offerings and value. And then I think that's where it could force Disney to be much more sensitive to what people want. Because if you have an equal, like back in 2010, 2009, nobody was talking about Universal really competing with Disney attendance by any means, or drawing people away from them. But that is a reality now. Even in Hollywood, it's probably starting. They're going to do a lot of stuff out in Hollywood that could impact Disneyland, potentially, with the Hollywood ride, they're going to add a hotel out there. So I think on both coasts, they're definitely, offering up more competition, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I've been having a really good time. I've been doing a lot of Universal lately. This year has been kind of my Universal year, and it's been fun. It has, it's a change of pace. It's good to try different stuff and kind of branch out into different things. And I've never done this much Universal in 1 year before, so it's been kind of fun, like getting to know this little park and everything. And plus, that Fast and Furious coaster looks insane.
I saw the animation of that. That thing looks. I will never ride it. It looks insane, though. Yeah. I would. Yeah, I think it's definitely a cool concept. Joshua MN says, can we get a park hopping and capture the magic collaboration? Hey, listen, I'm down. Listen, I saw Jay in the parks once. I know who Jay is. He's a tall dude. I saw him from a ways away, and I had my kids with me, and I'm like, I'm not going to bug him. It was in the valet parking, because if you're a Premier Pass holder, you can use the valet parking. Do you guys have that now in Hollywood? Valet parking with your Premier Pass holder?
Yes, we do.
It is the best perk of any theme park I've ever used. But my kids were being loud, and I was like, I'll let JP. But no, I would be down for that. Drunk says, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I do love those theme park talks. Jay undersells himself there. He's a nice guy.
Very
cool. Says, for me, it's all about value per attraction. Like if Epic Universe costs $200 to only ride 6 to 8 rides, assuming closures, you're paying about $30 a ride. A 226 MLK. I'm not really sure what that means. No, I mean, you can definitely break it down that way for sure, undoubtedly. David Maddox says, our family used to go to Disney every 9 to 12 months. We just went to Orlando 2 weeks ago and did 4 days at Universal Studios instead. Well, and what's interesting, I told you guys this. I talked to some people that are in the travel agency world, and I had expected with Epic Universe coming online, obviously Universal is going to be more attendance, but people would do a split. They might, if they're going for 5 days, they go for 3 at Universal, 2 at Disney, something like that. They had told me they had seen, now it's anecdotal, there's a couple of agencies, but they had saw a dramatic drop off in their Disney bookings, a massive increase in their Universal ones, but people were choosing to go to Universal for an entire week and they weren't splitting, which I found interesting. And part of me, I guess it'd be my conspiracy theory. If the reports of Disney's attendance this summer being as low as they could have been, that also impacted the revenue, could some of the price increases trying to be to offset potential revenue losses? Right. If that scenario is true, which we won't know until the earnings report, but that's kind of been my conspiracy theory without any data other than just hearing like touring plans and other places talking about that. But Arlene says Universal is awesome. I love what Universal is doing. Epic Universe is awesome. And once I don't have to wait in line for 2 hours for an attraction every time, I can't wait for annual passes. Pandora Mischief Dragon says Disney currently has nostalgia, but if you don't go as a kid, will they be Disney adults? That's something we've talked about a lot too. Yep. Is if as this like my kids, I mean, they like Disney stuff, but they're not like Disney kids. I mean,
well, here's the thing. I agree. Okay, I agree, but then again, I'm looking back at my own situation. And when I was a kid in the 80s, I didn't care about any Disney stuff. I was all Transformers and GoBots and Silverhawks and
Transformers are awesome.
Oh, they were dope, dude. And like so He-Man. So I didn't really, as a kid, didn't really get a lot of Disney. But here I am, and now I'm all into this Disney stuff. Now I will say this though, when I was in like my tweens, going into my teens, that's when the Renaissance era hit. So I was all in then, you know what I'm saying? So that might have still influenced me.
I think a lot of the Disney adult stuff is off that Renaissance. And I guess the question would be, will there be another Renaissance? But the landscape's so different now, though, too. Like, there's just so many more entertainment options between YouTube, Netflix, like all the other streamers out there. There's video games are so much bigger now in terms of entertainment. I mean, video games absolutely blow the lid off of like Hollywood right now. So it's just there's so many things, and that's something I've also felt too. In coming decades, you're not going to have these, I guess you would just call them the Disney adult crowd, because they're not going to be bought into a single brand. They're just going to be more about like the IPs they're into. And I think this could be a little window where Disney really cashes in on this, but this doesn't mean you can continue to do this for a long period of time. And like really too, it's like the rate in which things have been increasing, you realistically can't even continue that at that rate. I mean, you would outprice almost everybody at some point, I would assume. But
well, and it's also a different kind of era, right? Like when we were kids, you only had certain channels to watch, and so everyone liked the same stuff. But now kids watch all kinds of stuff. Some kids are only into anime, some kids are only into this. I mean, like everyone has I mean, you can watch anything in an instant now. You don't have to wait for Saturday morning cartoons. You don't have to wait for 3 o'clock after school. You know what I'm saying? And there was only 7 channels, so it's different. The fandoms are more spread out. It's not so narrow focused like it was. Like, I mean, the Mickey Mouse Club back in the 50s, every boomer kid back then watched the Mickey Mouse Club. But nowadays, I mean, a lot of like kids shows. I mean, some parents have their kid watch this. Some parents have their kids watch that. There's so many options that you don't have that same kind of like groundswell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that the next CEO has a vision, because they need somebody that can understand how to select IPs or create IPs that break through all the white noise. Because if you're going to actually have IPs that surface from, just like you said, OG, just the sea of options that are out there. I mean, you can't be doing the same thing you were doing 10 years ago. You can't even do the same thing you were doing 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's too where if you look at like Marvel and Star Wars, they had brands that would have lasted through that. But they've, I don't know. I mean, we'll see with Star Wars. I'm to the point with Star Wars where I just don't care. Marvel, you'll probably have a resurgence a bit there with Doomsday, but it's like, what do they do going forward?
Right.
It's like, and there was that story out there where they were looking for IPs that were going to appeal to young men, which they used to have. And so they're researching for that. And those things, I mean, it's like what strikes big, like K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't think anybody thought that was going to become the hit that it did. It's kind of like Frozen or these things. They just strike a chord at the right time, and it's hard to predict these things. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. Let's see. A-Rod Z21 says, Disney adults frustrate me to no end. It's those people that embolden Disney to keep raising prices over and over. I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
I do wonder, though, how much of it is just that people bought into Disney, or how much it is also you have this generational like rite of passage that people just kind of have going, like kind of like in the ether a bit, like, oh, we're just going to go to Disney because I went to Disney as a kid, stuff like that. I've always wondered that mix of, especially in these like higher priced vacations and things like that.
Yeah. The Disney adult thing is definitely a thing where I feel like it does impact quite a bit. When I hear people say, well, I love Disney, it's my favorite, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm like, that's a little cringe, just because I do want to hold this company accountable because I love the company, but I still at the same time though want to demand better when they can do better.
Right.
And so when I hear people say like, well, we're just going to do it, we're just going to support it no matter what, it's like, I mean, that's not necessarily good. And that doesn't necessarily help Disney. And same for Universal. I mean, I don't think Universal people should be like, yeah, I'm going no matter what. No. If they mess up, you pull back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I wish Disney would like admit and just take an L from sometimes. Like even when the Star Cruiser shut down and the press release they put out there was like, is almost like they worded it like it was successful. I'm like, just say you messed up. Like I think they would actually get a lot more favor, or what do you want to call it? Where people just be like, okay, like, they get the feedback, they tried something, it didn't work, but it's like they like to also at the same time say they need to change things, but also we're doing great. And it's like, it's kind of like having somebody with a drinking problem that's like, I'm fine, but I need to stop drinking. You're like, well, do you have a problem? Like, well, on the weekends, but normally no. And you're like, okay, well, that's, I don't really know how that one plays out, but hi, my name is 6502. Hello, my name is very deep emotional ties. I think it's a reality escape. People say they can get away from it all in Disney and it becomes a need.
Well, and you bring up alcoholics, right? You bring up alcoholics. In a lot of ways, Disney is sort of the same thing, right? In a lot of ways, where people don't drink alcohol for the alcohol. They drink alcohol to escape reality, right? To escape their problems. Disney is used as the same kind of vehicle. It's the same kind of thing where it's like people splurge on Disney to get away from reality, to escape. Now granted, it's healthier for you than drinking all the time. But at the end of the day, though, it's the same kind of mindset where it's like, I don't want to think about anything. I want to just kind of like, So
no, you're absolutely agreed. Drunk Tribio says, haha, bother me. All right, next time I will bother you, Jay. I think Jay's actually taller than me. I'm like 6'3". It's not often I find people that are taller than me, but it's like I like Conductor is like, what'd you say, 6'5"?
Oh, he's tall. Yeah, he's a big boy.
And that just, I like being taller, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm 6 foot, but I'm probably 6'4" with my hair. So
your hair gives you a little extra. Yeah, I'll get those like DeSantis boots. Make myself like 6'5".
I'm a short guy. All right, I'm 5'7". So what I lack in size, I have to make up for in obnoxiousness.
There you go.
You're like those guys in the gym that have the invisible lat syndrome. They walk around.
That's it.
I always love those guys. Yeah. Led Ruma says, for the price of a full week at 3 out of the 4 Universal parks, you can maybe do 2 Disney parks and not even including hotel. Plus, there's nothing at Disney that's made me go, I have to go. Yeah, and I think that's where competition, like Universal is doing something very interesting of, they're doing a lot of the things Disney used to do very well, but doing it they're not like directly copying, they're doing it in their own way. And it does make for a unique experience. Like it's in some people won't like it, some people will, vice versa. But I think this is why I love competition. I always have loved competition, because obviously the things Disney's doing, they wouldn't be doing if Universal had never started the Wizarding World either. So you're seeing the direct effects of all this over this last decade. And I honestly like a good fight. I want them to fight. Like I want just a death match. Like they just fight it out and they're competing for your vacation dollar. I think that's a good thing for the consumer. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well said.
Lucas and Disney says, well, also the capacity of the parks just are that crowded and packed because 5 years after pandemic, people moved over to Orlando 8 times and caused massive population increase.
Yeah, sure.
Florida's full, by the way. That's what I heard lately.
We are not taking any more applications.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's really bad down here. It's terrible. You probably shouldn't come if you're asking.
I think last year, 500,000 people moved to Florida.
It's been like I think in the 2020 to 2025, it was like 8% increase in population. And then since then, it's been like 2% yearly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a bit. A lot of people come down here. Like I said, it's full. You don't want to come down here. It's no fun. Let's see if I can. Hey, you guys, thank you guys for commenting in the chat. I appreciate that. Let's see. Vegas Disney RTV says Pixar's golden age followed by the Disney Renaissance. If they can replicate it, that'd be my question. I think going forward. We got Rogue Attraction. Says howdy. Let's see how far I am not even close to the bottom here. All right, I'm gonna skip that. If I missed your comment, I apologize. I'm gonna try and get caught up here. Arlene says, in a world that can be stressful and complicated, Disney offers a way to escape, but not in a shallow way. It's hopeful escapism.
That's fair. Yep. That's very fair. I love that. That's beautifully said, actually. That's actually a great way of putting it, Arlene.
And then Remy D8767 says, I see more people complaining about Disney adults than the actual Disney adults. LOL. What do they look like? I don't know.
Remy's saying. So Remy sees more people complaining about Disney adults, but don't really see that many actual Disney adults.
Oh, yeah, they're there. It's like if you've ever seen, you're like on a safari, you can see them, you like spot them a ways away. Like, oh, look at that one right there. Right there. That's not a bad idea for a show, by the way.
With the lounge fly backpack and the mouse ears.
I'm going to approach them easily from behind. You don't want to frighten them; they will run away quickly.
If you stand outside of the Emporium, you can catch them coming out in droves.
I just want a guy that looks like Steve Irwin. He's just got this like chest hair showing, just clearly like just saying it really loud so people hear it.
I love it.
Anything else you guys want to add about? I mean, we've talked about the price and stuff. Like anything else you guys want to add about it?
No, I'm good. I think we kind of deep dove into that. Absolutely.
We did deep dive into that. Okay.
Yeah, as far as the prices go, make your own decision. If you can't afford it, sorry, I apologize. But if you can, you feel like this is something that is of good value to you. Hey, I mean, that's capitalism, baby. That's just the way it works.
Agreed. I've said that to people all the time. Like I'll get flagged. I did that video on that Santa, $200 experience, and was like, what's it matter to you if you don't want to do it? I'm like, that's the point. I'm just giving my opinion. If you like it, don't let me dissuade you from going. Like, if you think it's worth it, then it's worth it. But I'm also the person, like, I don't care what people like if I love working out, I have friends that hate it and I don't care. Like it's like, if they don't want to do it, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, we don't have to agree on exercise and food and all sorts of things. But I don't know. I think there's some people just want this need of like, everybody has to agree with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is an individual decision. Like it is up to you and your family individually to decide, or collectively as a family to decide if this is something you want to continue spending your money on or not. And nobody has to tell you have to. Nobody's going to try to convince you. Nobody's going to judge you if you stop. It's your decision. And if you can't go anymore, I'm sorry. Like, it was a good run. And if you can, I'll see you at the park. That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, well, and I think too, it's like, I'm in the same boat as OG. I've really liked what Universal's been doing, especially the past like 2 or 3 years.
Same.
And it's to me, it's a simplified experience. And what's funny is there's a lot of people that like our podcast has been going for like 8 years. Is that years? Yeah. We started when our daughter was 9. And as time has gone on, like we obviously added a Universal aspect to it, but a lot of people lately, my wife does a show on there called Trip Tales where they go on. It's like I call it the Joe Rogan of theme park podcast, and they come on and they just have a deep discussion about their trip. Like they break down per day, and a lot more people have been going to Universal that are typically Disney people, and they're really shocked at how much they enjoy it. Because I think a lot of people that are just used to Disney are just kind of also like, I don't want to do that sort of thing, and then they like it just becomes like a territorial thing. But I think as more people try different things, that's ultimately good, even if you like Disney, because it's going to force them to just do other stuff or up their game in many ways. But let's see. We got Luke. What's up, Luca? Oh, that's on your side. I was like, wait a minute, is that on my side or your side? I forget the chats are combined.
Lucas and Disney. Thank you so much, Lucas, for being a member for 15 months. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think people are losing the reality check outside of Disney parks. Hotels in Cancun are hiked up, and cruises are also expensive. It's not just Disney. No, that's absolutely, Lucas. I mean, it, like I mentioned earlier too, even Universal, once you get in the park, it's, arm and a leg. I mean, the beers are $13. The cupcakes are like, everything's expensive. The popcorn buckets are still $35 or $40 at Universal. The difference is when it comes to parks, I think the ticketing, Disney obviously is the higher. But in terms of once you're in those parks, a lot of these parks, it's pretty standard. The parking, the food, SeaWorld's even higher than a lot of these other places. So
absolutely.
Well,
It's
Disney
egregiously high.
Well, and Disney draws their value comparison is sporting events and concerts. Because if you look at those are insane. It was like even, what was it, 2022, back in Missouri to a minor league baseball game. And like pizza and a Coke was like $24, a slice of pizza. This was not a full pizza. It's like, it's just, you get into some of these like food items at different places, it can get pretty wild. I mean,
and you know what's crazy, Jared, is I used to be an avid goer of concerts. Back in the the aughts, double aughts, and the tens. Man, I used to go to concerts all the time. I used to go to like 100 concerts a year, but it's just gotten to the point now where it's ridiculous. I mean, the Ticketmaster fee alone is like the price. It's the price, and I'm surprised that like the Federal Trade Commission hasn't gotten involved with this yet.
There is a lawsuit now. I think they are actually suing Ticketmaster over that. I saw that like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You're right, but it's taken until 2025. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Ticketmaster has been ripping people off since what, the mid 2000s? You used to be able to go see like Pearl Jam or Metallica for like $70 or $80.
Yep.
Now, and you know why? It's because of the fees that Ticketmaster charges these bands for them to be able to book through their services. It is absolutely outrageous. And so I just stopped going. And for me, I'm one of these people, like, going to theme park is just a better value. Because if I wanted to go to like 3 concerts a year, forget it. I'm already $400 in the hole for 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
For 6 hours worth of entertainment. It's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And like, that's a comparison you can make. Like, there is definitely an argument there. If you look at especially concerts and sporting events, like how much time you can get versus like if you want to have like per hour of fun or whatever it is. But yeah, we used to go to Cardinals games in Missouri all the time. And it got to the point there where it just wasn't worth, like, it's also the hassle of it all. And I was like, it's a better experience watching sports on TV anyways.
100%.
So it's just like, I don't want to, like, we're not far from Jacksonville. My buddy was like, he had free tickets to go see the Jaguars. And he's like, hey, do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't want to spend a whole Sunday. Like, it's just like, we had to get up at like 7 a.m., go tailgate, all that. And I'm like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to be around a bunch of drunk people. Football in person is boring. Like, you don't realize when you watch it on TV how many, like, you play and then you got 35 seconds or 40 seconds. And then it's just this constant, like, you're just sitting around and looking around. Yeah. And I was like, I wouldn't get home till like 8 o'clock that night. And I was like, I could just watch the game at home and just chill. Like, I would just rather do that. Even if it was free, it was just my time alone. I would rather not spend it.
Dude, and OG, I've never made it through the 6th inning of a baseball game in person awake.
Wait. Oh no. I'm not a sports guy at all. Full disclosure, I'm a 100% a nerd. And I definitely, don't care. I couldn't tell you who played the Super Bowl. Could not tell you. No idea.
I used to be, my entire life was sports. And then, I don't know, it wasn't even like necessarily right when I had kids, but it's just like, I couldn't tell you anything hardly now. Like, I randomly will peek into stuff and I'll see who wins. But like, I haven't sat down and watched a game. Like, I watched a little bit of the Chiefs game last night while I was working out, but it's like, I haven't sat down to watch a full game in probably like 7 years. I don't know. I don't have my attention span has like gotten lower over time, and just, I don't know. I get it. All right, let's talk about, not a fun topic. I'm curious what you guys think, because we haven't had a live stream since this happened, but we've talked about it on here before, which is Stardust Racers. Of course, we had the incident where a guest died while on the ride. Ride was shut down for a few weeks when investigation was going on. You have Ben Crump involved, making a lot of accusations to Universal. And then last week, Universal reopened it, and now this ride's back open. And they did make some changes to it. The main ones being, I don't know if they have this article, but they updated the safety guidelines to where they basically say now that you have to, it's still wheelchair accessible, ECV accessible, but you have to be able to physically walk from your wheelchair onto the ride vehicle unassisted. So that's a change, and that's on Stardust Racers, Hagrid's. I think if you're riding the motorcycle part, but not the sidecar part. Monsters Unchained and Velocicoaster, I think, are all the rides that affects, but maybe there's one more in there. No, it says right here: Velocicoaster, Dragon Racers Rally, Monsters Unchained, Stardust Racers, and Forbidden Journey. Those are the ones on there. And then they also had some language in there, which I actually do think this kind of leans toward what the investigation will show, is they have some additional wording about like osteoporosis and like weakened muscles, like muscle atrophy. That it gives a warning that if you have weakened bones or weakened muscles, to not ride this attraction. So I actually thought every Monday the past 2-3 weeks, Ben Crump has given a press conference and just slandered Universal for like an hour. He didn't do one today. He's threatened a lawsuit at least 2 or 3 times that I'm aware of. He's had a lot of, I think he's tried to do a lot of this through the, not the legal method, but just like the social pressure method, which I don't think has been working. But what do you guys think about this ride reopening unchanged? We talked about if they'd make any changes on this. And then do you think legally, like, what do you guys think about how this is going to play out in terms of like legal side or anything like that?
Well, I think Universal feels very confident. I'll say that much, because I don't think they would have opened it if they didn't feel confident,
Especially like not changing anything in terms of the ride.
Right. Exactly. And just policy stuff changed, right? So, I mean, they feel pretty confident that they're good. And honestly, here's the thing too. I know there's been a lot of debate on this on social media and stuff. I don't think they would have reopened it if they felt like it really was a danger to the public, because they don't want another lawsuit.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying like they're a mega corp. I'm not saying they got everyone's best interest at heart, but they got their financial interest at heart. Absolutely. And they definitely don't want to have another problem. So I think that they're opening it is a sign of confidence, in my opinion, So
yeah. No, I agree.
And to piggyback on that, I mean, the longer they keep it closed, the more of an admission of guilt it can be perceived by the public and by the attorneys as well, because the attorneys are going to ask, and I'm talking about like, the prosecutor, Ben Crump, he's going to ask, well, why did you keep the ride so long? Remember, he did have an opportunity within the first 24 hours to file an injunction, and he didn't.
That was what was interesting. Yeah, he was complaining about them reopening it, and he said it was a surprise to them. And a reporter asked him, why didn't you file an injunction? And he said, well, we didn't think they would do it. We were caught off guard, but you had 24 hours. So like
it's a totally bogus story, and it's not consistent with some of the claims that he's making, that Universal is keeping this ride open against the best interest and against the safety of the guests, like as if Universal would have an incentive to have a ride system that is not working properly. I'm here, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company having an incentive to have less safe rides. This is a ridiculous argument. And so that contradicts this notion that he didn't file an injunction within the first 24 hours because, I thought Universal Studios was going to, do the right thing, if you will, and keep this ride closed indefinitely until we felt like we were satisfied. And again, he hasn't filed a lawsuit yet, right? It's like, so we don't even know if this thing is going to go to trial. But if it is, I don't think the evidence is going to come out in his favor. This thing has been inspected by four different.
They've had Universal's people that have a MAC or mock rides. I like to say MAC. They've had the state investigators, and they had a third party independent group come in and look at this, and they all have said the same thing, right, that nothing malfunctioned on the ride itself. Like, and they have, by the way, they have sensors on each seat on this ride. They've also brought into question the harnesses, but those harnesses, the ride cannot run if they are not secured. Like there's and then you're talking about MAC rides too. Like so Ben Crump essentially said, well, they say it's safe. We're saying it's an inherently unsafe attraction. Well, then you're talking about a whole other thing. You're talking about Universal's operating a death trap. MAC rides would have known about it. Investigators of the state inspection code would have bypassed this. And then I said this in another video. I'm like, to what end though? Because if Universal knew this was a death trap and they were trying to hide it, eventually this was going to happen. It doesn't make any sense. Like, as much money as they spent on Epic Universe at $6 to $8 billion, if they inherently knew, let's say we're super conspiratorial and Universal's like, oh man, this ride's going to really hurt somebody. Do you think they would risk that investment on one ride? Like, if it was really bad, they would eat the cost and put something else up because it wouldn't be worth risking your $8 billion investment into this park and your brand that would be damaged by it. So the accusation itself is just silly, considering what we also know, which is very unfortunate that a man died. But I think what's going to be shown here is he simply should not have been riding this in his condition. And that's basically what is going to be shown here, because I think the ride restriction updates just reinforce that. They didn't change anything other than just basically reinforcing previous warnings. And now they're essentially the new thing is you can't be a paraplegic and ride this ride without saying you have to be able to walk to be able to get onto it.
And Kiki and Luca, yeah, I have been on that ride. It's been several months, but we were able to ride it several times. And yeah, look, it's an intense roller coaster. There is no if and what's about it. It's as intense, if not more intense, than Velocicoaster, at least in terms of not so much like the twist this way, but it has a lot of these like up and downs that give you these what is it, like off your tush feeling. So there's a lot of like floatless experiences throughout that attraction. I don't recommend that ride for anybody that has any sort of ailment. I mean, much less the condition this poor gentleman was. Again, I feel sorry for the family. This is a tragedy that has happened, but that ride by no means should be ridden by anybody that has a whiplash or a spinal issue or spondylota or pregnancy, or even, I mean, like, look, even if you have like fluid in your ears that make you dizzy, this is not a ride for you. This thing is one of the most intense roller coasters in the entire Southeast.
Yeah.
And then to get on this ride and to expect to come off fine. And look, I'm a roller coaster junkie. I'll admit it. I mean, I've been skydiving. I've ridden every single roller coaster in the Southeast that can be considered intense. I love fast cars. This ride, it takes you for a ride. You know what I mean? And to ride in and just expect, I'm just gonna, like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's what my wife said too. She's ridden it, and she was like, she gets motion sick, but she knows how to control it. And she was like, I can't do it back to back by any means. But she's like, because I was like, I thought about riding it. I don't have any health stuff. I just don't like thrilling coasters. Like me and OG are very similar in that way. And she's like, oh, you'd hate it. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, I think it's I think it's obvious how this is going to play. And I guess the big question is, will they file a lawsuit? And then would it even go to court? Given if the investigation shows they did anything wrong, I don't even know if it would go there. I can give you guys a topic. I got to go tell my kids goodnight real quick. So OG, you guys want to spin this off? You want to go to a different topic?
Let's go to the next. We'll go to the next topic, and we'll meet you when you come back.
All right, let's go.
Tell the kids goodnight for us. All right.
I'll tell them a bedtime story for you guys.
There you go.
If you hear yelling, it's just them saying they don't accept your bedtime story. And let's see here. You guys want to talk about Tron bots?
Yeah, we'll do Tron. That sounds good.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about AI taking over, and let's see. Stop that screen. I'm learning how this thing works at some point. Okay. I will hand it over to you, and I will be right back.
Perfect. All right, so we have Tesla Optimus steals the show during Tron Ares premiere. Now, this is very interesting, right, Slimer? Because, I mean, it's world famous at this point. The feud that Elon had with Disney and even specifically Bob Iger, and now they're working together. It's crazy. Now, here's the thing. For me personally, I mean, I'm not a big Elon guy. I'm not a big Elon fan, but I don't like having Disney out there constantly and for all the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Headline news, they're constantly fighting with somebody. It's not a good look. It doesn't help Disney at all. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with Elon, whether you agree with DeSantis, I've made multiple videos, going after DeSantis and all that stuff during that whole Reedy Creek stuff. So you don't even have to agree with these guys. But at the end of the day, though, I think we can all kind of agree that them fighting publicly and going back and forth is not a great look. Disney has enough PR problems already. So the fact that they're working with Elon, at least on the technology side of things, I mean, this is the kind of franchise you would obviously get, utilize a company like Tesla for, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's fine. I mean, I don't know if people have issues with this. I think it's fine. I think it's good when Disney kind of works with, people even maybe they don't agree with and this, that, and the other. I think it is kind of healthy to sort of do that. And also it keeps them off the front page with the back and forth, which I think hasn't been great. Even if you don't agree with Elon, you know what I'm talking, because I know people in the comments are going to tell me this, that, and the other. I know. I don't even go on X anymore. I think he's completely destroyed that site. But I think it's better for Disney to sort of like not get in like a massive national fight and kind of just play ball a little bit than it is to kind of get in there in the mud. But what say you, Slimer?
I agree. You know, Disney is one of those companies because they're in such scrutiny all the time in the public purview that for them, a lot of the times it's just better to go along to get along. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if it's with Elon or the president of the United States. Sometimes they just need to go along and get along. And this is, I think the Jimmy Kimmel instance is probably very indicative of that, where, you know, they took him off and instead of, you know, handling that PR issue the way that I think the majority of people wanted to handle that issue, they handled it a different way. Now, one could say, well, it was because it was Bob Iger that made the final call, and it was on ABC, and ABC's his baby, and Jimmy Kimmel and Bob Iger have been friends for 20 years. Like, whatever the reason is, the answer should always be, like, is this decision going to be what's the best interest for the Disney company, at least when it comes from a public perception? Now, with regard to Elon Musk, somebody made a comment up here a little bit earlier that said that ideally Tesla, or, you know, what is it? Tesla would have a large presence at Epcot. I 100% agree with that. I 100% would agree with that. And that's in line with the vision of Epcot, which is to show the possibility of the human experience and the innovation through technology. And we have a super chat here from Lucas and Disney. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Lucas. Appreciate it. It says Elon and Iger's relationship, we're trying to build relationship back. But honestly, Elon's focus is to promote Grok AI and automation and automaton AI in the movie. And that's fair. You know, of course, he's piggybacking on the plot of Tron Ares, and that's fine. Like he's allowed to do that if he believes that's going to promote his product. And I do believe that Disney needs to have a good relationship with one of the biggest tech companies in the United States, being Tesla, because it's not just Tesla, it's also SpaceX. And there's a lot of financial opportunities in terms of partnership between these organizations when it comes to experiences that are possible in the parks. What do you think about that?
No, I agree with you. I you can have a working relationship and still not agree with the politics of the leadership over there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of what he does over there in technology and what have you, I think there is a lot of potential there to work with Disney, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like, why limit yourself? Why not have that? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so yeah, I'm fine with it. Personally, I'm fine with it. And Lucas is right. It is a way to promote the Grok AI and the, you know, in an AI movie. And that's absolutely correct. And really what he's doing isn't too much different than what Disney does on a regular basis. This kind of like IP flywheel, sort of shameless promotional thing. Disney's been doing this for decades. So he's kind of taking a page out of their book. So yeah, no, I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't think that it's an issue at all. And I will say this though, these Tesla robots, they do make me feel a little uneasy. There's something about these things. I feel like one of these days they're going to turn on us, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a crazy, like, you know, conspiracy theorist, but they're a little, no, see, Cassandra, I just said the same thing. I completely agree with you. They are a little bit on the creeper side, a little bit, but what say you, Slimer? What do you think? You think they, you know?
I do like the robots. I think they're pretty cool. And I do also believe that there's a lot of possibilities for these to be, to have a place in a park like Epcot. I think that, and I was actually talking about this with George the other day because I'd recently been to Epcot, and with the Food and Wine Festival being watered down quite substantially, and the only good festival being Flower and Garden Festival, there's certainly room for Disney to increase like a tech and innovation festival that they can do once a year. Don't make it permanent because technology just moves so fast. We've made it permanent. You have an innovations problem all over again. But bring Elon over, bring the robots, you know, turn Mission Space into a SpaceX Mars ride, RoboCops.
I'm telling you, that's how you get security in the parks.
I'm telling you, man. You have 10 seconds to comply. But I think there's dude, I love that movie. But there's a really good opportunity for them to introduce a whole new experience, a new festival, if you will, to Epcot, starring artificial intelligence, robots. What are they going to be? What is going to be their role in the next year? Like, what is the vision for these companies moving forward? Because one, I feel like it's moving so fast that it's kind of even hard to keep up. I mean, we get a firmware update on artificial intelligence. It seems like every week now. I think we're already on like Grok 5, going on Grok 6. Like the thing came out this year.
Yeah.
But Jared, while you were gone, we were just talking about is that it's good that Elon and Disney smoothed it over. That Disney does not have the luxury to be picking and choosing who they're friends with, and they should just go along to get along because they're always under public scrutiny. And then the conversation just kind of went into like how X and SpaceX have could have a very formidable presence in, like, let's say, an Epcot, if you will.
It would make a lot of sense. I mean, I've often said Tomorrowland Speedway would be perfect for like Tesla or something. To not have it where it's like go-karts in Magic Kingdom, which hasn't made sense in like 20 years. But yeah, I mean, I think as much as people, which is interesting, we were talking about a little bit of like, you have a segment of people that are accepting of AI, understanding like it's going to play a bigger, whether you like it or not, AI is going to play a role in things. And by the way, all the major companies are already using it on some level. YouTube uses it constantly. So it's going to be used more and more. But I think when you, where it comes into the theme parks will be interesting because like Universal, I've talked about before, they have that patented system that uses AI as like a way to monitor guest behavior. Yeah. I think they'll definitely do that because one of the biggest liabilities these companies have as the parks get bigger is there's just a segment of people that are rowdy, which ruin for everybody else. So if you can use AI to your advantage to try and mitigate some of that, I think that they will. And in terms of like experiences, like the options or the possibilities are kind of endless in many ways of what they could do. But Epcot would be the one, if you're talking about a Disney park, would make the most sense to utilize it some way. Or like Tomorrowland, given that both Disneyland and Disney World's Tomorrowlands are yesteryear lands in many ways. Like they're not what they originally were created to do. But and the Tesla bots, I mean, I don't trust them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want them walking around because I think those things are just gonna eventually, like, call me crazy, but I think eventually they're just gonna turn. And then what do you do then? Other than I'll be ready. If I'm in the park that day, listen, I will know what to do. I will have a backup plan. Or Slimer, I have a feeling Slimer would have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. If we're both in the park that day, lucky you. But I say that, and the Tesla bot would just throw me 50 yards and I'd be out. But
you've heard it here first. The Judgment Day is going to start with
dun, dun, dun.
Capture the Magic in Orange Grove 55.
100%. And Vinton, thank you so much, Vinton, for the $10 sticker, and we appreciate you too. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you. Also, I do want to say too, like, the working together thing goes both ways, right? Like, for example, Disney right now is seen as more of a progressive company, right? And they're working with Elon. There was a time when Dana Walden, who is very progressive, was working with Rupert Murdoch, who's very conservative. And Rupert loved her. I mean, from what I understand, they worked together very well. And that's good to see. I think that's great to see. I think having them work together was great. I think them working together, Elon and Disney, is great. I mean, I think that's kind of how it should be. I think you sort of like, you fence yourself off into like, I think it's better creatively when we can have all these minds together. We can leave the politics out of it, but let's put our brains together creatively, no matter what we believe politically. You know. So
that's a really good point. And Jared, if you will, I just want to add this one last point to that. So when I went to go see Tron Ares the other day, they actually had a trailer, for all the Disney movies that are coming out, and they had the final trailer for Predator Badlands, and it looks badass. That's a Dana Walden thing, So she's this ultra progressive, friends with Kamala Harris, but Predator Badlands is the most badass movie that Disney's coming out with, as far as all the movies are in their current lineup. It should be that the quality of the product is so good and so centered on the 80% of the middle of the population that you don't know the political backing of whoever is in charge of, greenlighting these stories and scripts and projects. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell. I think that's the whole point of this.
Well, I think
And
people are tired of it too. Of just
yeah,
what,
so
like
tired.
personally, like even if it agrees with my politics, I don't want it in my like. And everybody has their own politics, but it's like I don't want to see it like in like I love Transformers. I don't want Optimus to come out and start talking like, oh, I agree with Optimus. Like I want Optimus to do Optimus Prime cool stuff and transform into a truck and fight Megatron. Like I don't need like moral or political guidance from movies and entertainment. And I think that's the thing that most people are just, even if they agree with it, I think some people or most people are just tired of that.
Yeah.
Of just, create good stuff. And I agree that trailer is interesting. I have a hard time with anything that doesn't involve the original Predator though, with Arnold and the classic handshake with Carl Weathers. Although I'm trying to think, I did see a trailer for Badlands. It looks I'll have to see more trailers. I don't know. Was the premise just the fact that they're on a planet where they're being hunted, essentially?
Watch the new trailer, dude. Just type in Predator and make sure you have your headphones on or it's on your living room television. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I'll check it out. I used to be able to do the Predator noise, but I can't do it anymore.
Is that how you used to wake up the kids?
Or whatever that thing is, yeah. No, I think now my idea for the Tesla bots, remember the old show Battle Bots when they got in an arena and they fought?
Oh,
We do Tesla bots, but you get to like mess with the bots and you just have like gladiator sporting with Tesla bots. I think it'd be a huge success.
That's sick. I went to the Tesla diner in Hollywood like a week ago. And it was pretty dope, dude. I mean, the aesthetics of it was very Tomorrowland, or what like Tomorrowland should be, right? Very, very cool. And they had these Tesla bots like in these like glass, like what was it, like display boxes or whatever, like when you go down the stairwell and stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of crazy. It's a little dystopian. That part's a little dystopian for me with all the robots, whatever. But it was a cool experience, man. The food was kind of mid. It wasn't great. But dude, I mean, it's like part drive-in, like you park your car and there's a big like screen and you can watch like these old time movies, which that in and of itself I thought was really cool because it's kind of this interesting juxtaposition of the old movie, but with like the really futuristic diner. I thought that was kind of dope.
That is kind of cool. I mean, you could see stuff like in Vinton agrees with me here. I think that'd be a great show. I would try and I don't know anything about robotics, but I would be like, I describe to them what I want my Tesla bot to do and be and do that. But the drive-in diner in Hollywood Studios, you could see, I mean, what'll end up happening is these Tesla bots will replace waiters and waitresses.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll happen. I mean, that's the thing about AI is this stuff is going to undoubtedly replace jobs, but it's going to be very interesting to just see how quickly that end of it hits. Like we've already seen it hit, but what's interesting too is ChatGPT did a study on it and most people are using it just as like a Google search.
Right.
Like that's how like 90% of people are using ChatGPT is essentially just to what they would normally Google search. And I have a background in like internet marketing and stuff like that. And that is the big challenge on the SEO side of things is people are, it used to be you could make money off of a website by just having queries. Like you have a website that just answers, what is the net worth of it used to be a big one. What's the net worth of Bob Iger? And you have an article about Bob Iger's net worth. Now AI just pop it up and tell you. So those websites are null and void now.
So much so that they've switched over to using Google uses Meta AI as their search engine.
That's the first thing you see. Yeah.
Yeah. That's their SEO now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't hit local stuff. Like if you're looking for a plumber, but if you're looking for general queries, and so it's already changed that end. It'll just be how quickly does it get implemented into real life, I guess, in many ways. And then and we've talked about before, like we talked with Jay OG about in the movie side, which shout out to Jay. He's got a movie coming out, Disclosure. I'm excited to see that. If you like aliens and all that stuff, I think that'll be a good one.
Oh yeah.
But like, how do audiences accept AI in movies that are like known? Like that's a question I have too. It's like, well, audiences really want to see a movie that's not a cartoon that's supposed to look lifelike. Like there are a lot of questions about how and what will the audience reaction to it be, but I think undoubtedly it's heading that way.
Well, another interesting thing too with that Tesla diner thing, because I haven't been down to Hollywood in a little while. It was very interesting outside of the diner. Hollywood in general is really embracing the Waymo driverless cars. Like I saw them everywhere, dude. Like brrr. I felt like I was in Back to the Future too. It was kind of wild. They were everywhere, dude. And I'm like, I'm an old school guy. Like, I don't know. I feel a little uneasy getting in a car where I'm depending on this computer to take me there safely. I'm like, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
My father-in-law's car, I was telling you on that thing as well, it's got the feature where it'll drive for you. Like like not for a long period of time, but if you let go, it'll like go around turns. And yeah, I was not a fan. I do not like being in control of a moving car in that way. But I mean, that stuff only going to get, and that's like a 5-year-old car at this point. So it's not even like cutting edge tech of what this stuff will do. But
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be. I actually, Back to the Future 2 is probably a pretty decent description of what it might end up looking like to get to that point of what it could do.
I was really surprised at how many I saw in that area. They were everywhere, dude. They were absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. Brandon Smith says Google has their own AI called Gemini. I actually been using Gemini quite a bit. That's what I use for my video because it has a deep research function. So when I gave it my prompts about, and I just fed it the info, and then like your prompts that you use with AI basically are like will make or break like what you want to do. But I gave it as much information as I could about like both companies and just told it to research this, research that. And it probably takes 5 minutes and it shows you going through and it spits out this huge report. So it has a very in-depth research feature on it that can be very useful if you're trying to like crunch numbers or, you know, especially hard data, like stuff like that is very useful. Keegan Lucas said ChatGPT can do some of my work that takes like 5 hours and 30 seconds. Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy what it can do. And it's going to continue to get crazier, I imagine.
I think artificial intelligence is going to be necessary for any sort of interstellar space travel, especially if we plan on using like anti-gravitic propulsion or something like that. You're going to need AI to be able to navigate, wormholes, black holes, nebulas. I mean, if this thing's going to be traveling trillions of light years in a matter of hours, which is what's going to have to be achievable in order for us to actually travel within a generation. But regardless.
Well, that gets into the whole, like, what was that movie with Johnny Depp where your consciousness is transferred into something?
That was a good one. Oh, what was the name of that one?
What was that called?
That was a good one, though.
But it's like, it was kind of ahead of its time.
It was a sleeper hit.
Yeah. Let me look that up real quick. Johnny Depp.
And Slimer, I just want to say real quick while he's looking that up, I love how you went right for it. Like you're like, you know what, fuck this, we're talking wormholes now. I'm like, yes,
I'm it. Was it Transcendence? Yeah.
Transcendence, yeah.
Johnny Depp uploads his consciousness into. Says he plays a scientist named Dr. Will Castor who is mortally wounded, and his consciousness is uploaded into a computer with dangerous consequences. Mm-hmm. So if you think about. We'll get back on theme parks in a second. See, I love talking this stuff.
Oh, me too.
If you're going to go interstellar travel, it would make a lot of sense to upload the consciousness into like a bot that humans aren't traveling that, but in a way they are. And I actually have a theory that a lot of the potential like alien life forms, they've often theorized it could be that type of like they're like drones. Like they're not actual physical beings, but they're like their consciousness has been transferred into that stuff. But I definitely think that it'll play a pretty big part of that.
Well, dude. I mean, you just go back to Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek and back in the 1960s. Well, not so much in the 1960s. No, they had a computer. They had artificial intelligence aboard the ship, and it was a necessary component for them to conduct their deep space travels. And I mean, can you imagine space travel without artificial intelligence? And now that we have been able to utilize it, I can't. I just can't imagine that.
Like, what if like aliens, right, that are visiting us aren't even really like aliens? They don't even look like aliens. What if they just look like human beings? We no one ever considers that. Like, what if they just look like freaking human beings?
What if aliens are humans from the future?
See?
Well, we talked about that. What was they say deja vu, which I actually think it could be true. Deja vu, or when you have a gut feeling that it is actually your consciousness along a further timeline that is actually like warning you in some way, which I actually think that stuff's true. I really do. I think there's a lot. I think we're well beyond. We're not just what we can see. I think there's a lot of things about humans that are beyond just all that stuff.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. It's like you ever like think about something and then like it happens later that day and stuff like that. I don't believe these things are coincidences. I do believe in like the law of attraction and stuff like that. I do believe what you think about, you bring about, things like that.
Right.
And it's all, yeah. We are way more we are way more spiritual and connected, and we have way more energy being transferred than people really think. It's yes, we're physical, but I think we're far more connected energetically.
Well, if you
It's
think
crazy.
about, there's I forget what it's called, but when they can't account for it, and they've done studies like when someone dies, there is, I forget the amount, but there's a certain weight that is different immediately when someone passes. So like your spirit could have an actual, like, it actually weighs something in your body because they can't account for what it is. Like they've
What?
actually tried. I'll see what it's called, but yeah, I think they call it the spirit equation of, like, they just know that there's a certain amount that doesn't make any sense as to why you would weigh any different, but there is something that you do lose a little bit of weight immediately upon someone passing.
That's
And for
wild to me.
and for anybody in the chat, no, it's not a fart.
No,
It's not a far. Well, you know, it's crazy too. Like with near-death experiences and stuff, I've heard people's accounts where, like, when they return back to their body, they actually feel their spirit getting crammed into their body.
yeah,
That's wild.
Like it's a tight feeling when you go back in. Like when you leave, it's very liberating. It's like, oh my God,
Right.
freeze a bird, so airy. But when you get put back in, people say it's very uncomfortable.
yeah.
So
Kika said, or Keegan Lucas said, it's like 8 grams or something. Yeah, I think it's something like that, like 8 grams, or there's some measurement of it, of what it is. But yeah,
That's wild.
Yep.
I do personally think I do think it is your soul. That's my opinion there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Lucas, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Everyone needs to understand that people who abuse Gen AI art aren't and shouldn't take over actual artists and creators. Gen AI steals the designs and algorithms from different sites and sources. What do you got to think about that? Like, because I'm kind of in between, like, in terms of, like, obviously I don't want anyone's job being taken away, but at the same time, every time we've seen progress in technology, we've had job losses. Like when we went to computers, like CGI, we lost ink and paint people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, it sucks, dude. I'm not saying it's like that's good. I don't want anyone to lose their job, but like, at some point, do we hold back on progressing as a like in humanity and with our technology because we don't want to lose some jobs, or how's it's a balancing act, I would think, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it depends on where it's implemented. Like I've said before, I think there will be an offshoot of people that want things that are directly created by humans. I think there will be a demand for that on some level, whether that's direct, ink and paint or whatever it is. But I think too, it's like you can make an argument the internet caused that also, because information was so readily available that the sources of it, like once it's out there, it's just out there. It kind of becomes part of the consciousness in a way, or something like that. I actually think I've heard some people talk about this that are, you could say they're sitting there theorizing about it. I think the biggest opportunities out there are people that are able to utilize AI, because I do think there's always going to be this human need to like have an intermediary. I don't think you want AI on its own, because I don't think that's good for any of us if AI is just running rampant with all the stuff out there. But I think there will be the people will figure out how to utilize it and improve their art and things like that. But I think that's what you're seeing Disney and all these major companies, Warner Brothers, Comcast, doing these lawsuits now, trying to protect their IPs. Before listen, the cat may be out of the bag too far now, but they're trying to limit how much of their stuff can just be utilized by this stuff. And I think that will be the big challenge the next like 5 years, of trying to see what they're going to be able to do to cap that. But in some level, it's also inevitable in reality. I mean, it just,
I think you're also going to see a framework of legislation that's going to come out, because all this stuff is going to have to be, I mean, the morality behind artificial intelligence is going to have to be legislated, just like the morality around everything else. So, you're going to have to work all this stuff out in the legal system. You're going to have to bring in the ethicists, the philosophers, the lawyers, the companies, and they're all going to have to work this out, and it's going to be legislated. I hope it's not legislated too much, though, because then when it's legislated too much, then you kind of just kneecap a good thing, and
and like whatever the legislation is, it'll be 5 years late. Though how quickly it's all moving too.
Of course, yeah. We're just figuring this stuff out. We're seeing what it's capable of doing, and in the process of figuring out what it's capable of doing, we're finding out very quickly that people like creatives and artists are being heard, because it's doing what Lucas here accurately pointed out. It just steals things, and I don't want to call it steal, because stealing is associated with something that has sentience. This thing is just finding information you're telling it to find, and then it's synthesizing it into something new. So we have to be like really careful about like associating. When it comes to artificial intelligence, it's very tempting. We have to be very careful about associating like intent, because I mean it's not intent, it's a program. You know, it's
Right.
not. It doesn't decide to do it, and so that's where like the legalese around this stuff can become very,
Well,
very muddled.
yes. And Lucas here says someone paid for commission and the person used Grok to turn his purchased item into an animated video when artists asked him not to. Thoughts? No, I think that's unethical, Lucas.
Yeah,
Straight up.
that would be considered unethical.
Yeah.
Now, how they legislate that, like I think it's going to happen a lot on the state level, and I think eventually you're going to have some like federal laws that are codified that supersede some of the shortcomings of the state. Because West Virginia, no offense to West Virginia, but they're not going to be thinking about this as intently as like, let's say, California, because they're two different industries. And so they're not going to have uniform laws when it comes to how this affects artists. And you might have artists that live in West Virginia, this example, that are, that are being affected by it, and artists in California are not, for example. So
yeah,
it's a big cookie.
Well, and as quick as some people are saying they hate AI art, I mean, you won't be able to tell soon just by looking at it, you won't know what's AI art and what's not. It won't. I think it'll hit that point for a lot of people that it won't be recognizable just by taking a peek at it. I'm not going to act like I know exactly how that'll play out, but I think that it's there's opportunity, of course, but then there's also the downside, and that's been in any time when we went from Telegram to the phone and then the internet. Like, there's always going to be a shift when that happens. It's just every time there's a shift now with technology, it just becomes much quicker and drastic in terms of what that shifts. So I think in every time, like, where there is risk and there's things that will be lost, there's also things that will be gained.
Well said.
It just, we don't know necessarily where all those areas are right now. And I think that depends on your lens you look through things through. I tend to look things on the optimistic side. I'm not a black pillar, and I don't recommend anybody become black pilled on any subject, even if you're like Star Wars. I mean, you can always have hope that Star Wars, I until I see it turn around, I won't, but I'm not going to sit there and say it can never be good again. So the same thing with this. It's like, there's going to be opportunities. Yeah. Will it be messy? Yeah, it's going to be messy, but that's also kind of how these things happen. And I don't think anybody knows. And that's the dangerous part of, like, you would say slow it down, but we're also in a race against like China, because all these other countries are going to use it, and the U.S. doesn't want to be left behind by it. Right. So you're forced to go and compete there and then deal with that problem later.
I would love to bring Walt Disney back and ask him, because this is an interesting topic, right? I think he would love AI in the sense of like what it can do for like what it can do for like his animatronics. And like all this other stuff. There's a lot of technology there that I could see Walt Disney going, you know what, this is pretty dope. I'm going to utilize this. At the same time, though, Walt loved and treasured his artists, his team, his 9 Old Men, and, Mary Blair and everybody that worked with him, right? So on the other foot, it would be like, well, yeah, AI has great potential and it's very cool to play with that. At the same time, though, it dehumanizes the art form. And that's something I don't think Walt would like. So
yeah, and I think too, it's like there's nothing that will replace when humans are forced. I think there's a lot of times where you're talking about it will replace a lot of mundane, repeatable jobs, but I think nothing can replace the human mind whenever it's like forced to do something, to be creative. I think that is something AI won't be able to replicate. It's just always going to be something. I think it may force people to be more creative. I actually think that's where humans will end up kind of going. Like, if you look like the Renaissance era, I think it could force a lot of people to become much more in touch with things that are more creative and outside the box thinking than has been in the past, let's say 20 years, just due to the fact of like, if your job is data entry, you're going to be replaced.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You can't enter data as quick as an AI or a lot of these things. But someone brought up AI in the theme parks. Mark Woodbury already said they're going to use AI or are using AI for like maintenance on rides, because they can pick out when things are. So you can actually have it improve safety in theme parks. You can have it improve safety in cars. Like, it has a lot of things I think that will actually be helpful to people. It just comes down to, can you mitigate the downsides of that? And then if it gets into the wrong hands, like, I think that's AI. It's like anything else. AI in the hands of someone with good intentions could do really great things, but it also could do really bad things if it's in the hands of people who have bad intentions.
It's just like anything else. Yeah.
100%. Kiki and Luca, thank you so much for thank you so much for the $2 super chat. When can we get Mimi Fan on the show? Hey, she's always welcome on the show. That would actually be a really fun show to have her on. She's been really, really cool. She's a lovely gal that does our outro for us on Orange Grove 55, and she's been really supportive of the channel. So big shout out to Mimi. But yeah, I'd love to get her on. It'd be a lot of fun. She seems like a really fun girl. It'd be cool to have like maybe even like a bar chat or something with her, you know? So
we have to make sure OG's, behaves himself on that stream.
Oh man,
maybe not too much. All right, last thing we'll talk about here. I was going to bring up, if I can find that story again, is Epic Universe has Christmas stuff, which I was excited to hear about, but it's not as in depth as I would like. But I'm actually pretty happy that it's anything at this point. Hold on, let me find the story.
A lot of potential with this. I didn't even know about this until today when you brought it up, Jared. I'm very curious as to what they could cook up with this particular.
Yeah,
thing.
actually, we'll use Disney Tourist Blog. I like Tim or Tom Bricker. His stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I like him because he knows his bias, but I think he's pretty fair in how he covers things. I appreciate that. So basically, they announced that they're going to do Celestial Park and Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic for Christmas. So those are the only two lands. So we're not getting Super Nintendo World, but that also didn't come to Hollywood until like 3 years, something like that, if I remember correctly. So I think in the coming years there will be more. But I think when you look at what you could do, which I will show you guys some AI. I used AI to generate some images of what this could look like in terms of Christmas time. But I think Celestial Park could be amazing at Christmas. I really think you could do some awesome stuff with that park, part of the park with like all the different Christmas elements you could put in there, all the things you could steal. Where did my images go? Dang it. Hold on, I'll find them here. Or we could just do real-time AI images. You guys want to do that?
Let's do it. Keep it in theme.
Let's play with AI in real time. This could be dangerous. I'm going to share my screen. All right, hold on. All right, what prompt do you guys want? Actually, let me get an image here.
We're going to have a minion with like 14 fingers.
It just produces something insane. You're like, oh no, don't do that.
What?
Okay, let's take this. Okay. Maybe this will be useful. If you want to know how to make AI images, we'll do this here. I'm going to use Gemini because it has that banana nana thing. All right. I'm going to paste that in there. And let's say decorate. Don't make fun of my spelling. I can't spell. I use spell check all the time. See what it does. By the way, this thing works really quick. This will take like 10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, Gemini's a lot faster than ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you ask it to make a picture, it's like, come back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it takes a long time. Okay, and then we'll do make it nighttime. I've also found you do one prompt at a time, and it actually works better than giving it a bunch of stuff at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually will like incorporate the shadows and stuff.
It's pretty sick.
Okay, that would look awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like you could put like a star on top. Like I think Celestial Park is one of those parks where you could do so much cool stuff in there. Make the water fountains Christmas colored.
Add a Tesla robot.
Just make a robot like punching somebody. Oh, see, I would do like I could literally have fun playing with this for hours about different things to just think of what it would look like. But yeah, like something like that in the park.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah,
would look. I think too. The other thing that would be really cool is Dark Universe with a dark Christmas theme.
Oh, dude, because they could kind of go like a Nightmare Before Christmas, but like obviously darker, but that kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's do.
I like this. Having fun with AI. This is cool.
You can just imagine it. You can just imagine things. Let's do make this a dark Christmas theme, like Nightmare Before. See what it does.
Amazing.
But yeah, like Dark Universe could be the really unique one, like a spooky Christmas. And like obviously Super Nintendo World, you've got all the Nintendo stuff that has it built into the IP. Isle of Berk is another one that like that is a Christmas village, like a Viking Christmas village would be nuts. Okay.
Did it do anything?
Yeah, it added some I'm gonna make it nighttime. It added some like weird looking animals in front or something.
That's weird. Is it like a gingerbread animal or something? I can't really tell. It's kind of
I think it's supposed to be like something from Nightmare Before Christmas, probably. But but like
I mean, that's
stuff
pretty
like that where
sick.
it's like a spooky Christmas or something like that. Like that would be very interesting for that. I think that's a minion right there.
Yeah.
So you were right, OG. It threw minions in there.
Love it.
But they actually have Jack Skellington back there, which they would not do, of course, because that would not work out very well. But like I
the
think
lawyers
there's
would get involved.
yeah,
unless they were just intent on doing a lot of illegal things that are not in their best interest.
Well, true. Let's say make black. What color should the Christmas lights be? Black and
Purple,
red?
maybe?
Oh, black and purple. Well, you got to think too. Celestial Park has all that built-in lighting, so where they can change that like at a moment's notice. They wouldn't have to put up any extra lights. That entire park is basically like set up for lighting packages.
Yeah, I would even move Universal Studios Christmas celebration. Just move it right over to Epic Universe. Like you don't need it Universal anymore. I mean, Universal has Halloween Horror Nights. Move Christmas to Epic Universe. Yeah. It's better suited for it. They have all, like you said, the built-in lights.
Yeah, like that. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I love Christmas in theme parks. It's like my favorite time of the year to go to theme parks. Like it's just a different vibe and feel to it. And even people are happier in theme parks at Christmas time. It seems like it's just,
I agree. Well, it's not only that, but go ahead, buddy.
It's like magic on magic, man. I mean, it's like when you go to Disney, it's like I go to Disneyland during the holidays. It's like Disneyland's already like a magical place, right? But then you add Christmas, which is a magical part of the year, and it's like, what the heck is going on in here? You know, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I see grown men cry on Main Street. It's wild. Go ahead, Slimer.
Well, that was
that's a good point. It is magic on magic. It is magic on magic. But you know, from like a business perspective, if you want to compete with the Magic Kingdom, like you have to put your Christmas party in Epic Universe. I mean, that's just where you put it.
Oh yeah, well, you got to do something different too, and not just the exact same thing they're doing as well.
Right.
Let's try this one. It's got like those interesting lights at night.
Lucas is asking to put fog in there too, which I think is a great idea.
I might be able to do that.
That'd be kind of sick.
Make a cookie scented fog.
Cookies. Smells like cookies. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
Ooh, there we go.
Look at that.
That would look cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Pretty sick.
By the way, I'm imagining that they like Imagineers and like Universal Creative do this all the time. I would imagine.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%.
I would pay someone just to do this because the amount of ideas that they could generate or AI could generate for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could just sit there and just think of a bunch of stuff. And I think that's where AI can be useful too, is like you just try a bunch of different stuff and then it's like, oh, that's an idea. And then you take it from there and then you do the other things that maybe inspired an idea. I could totally see stuff like that happening. Let's see if with fog effects in there. It's going to kick some. This is kind of risky. It might give us some weird.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
That is.
I'm going to save that. That's a cool picture. That's a thumbnail picture right there is what that is.
I dig it.
Love it.
You got a little sleigh right there. Yeah. I thought it'd be like, I ran through some of these. I also did like Donkey Kong Country with like Donkey Kong in a Christmas hat and stuff like that. And I think, I don't know. I think it's got a lot of potential. So I'm actually happy they're doing anything for Christmas this year. I wasn't expecting anything given their first year because people were asking about Halloween. But I think the fact they're doing two lands this year, I really hope the entire park is this Christmas decked out. Because I was saying too, like you have a Christmas show on the like fountain. You've got the lights up there. You get some hot cocoa sitting around that fountain area, just chilling. And during the Christmas time in Florida, it'll get chilly at night. Like you can wear a hoodie. Like it kind of makes a Christmas vibe. You got Snope going. Like I'm already there mentally. I'm there.
Oh, me too. And I can tell you right now, Donkey Kong Country during Christmas would be bananas. Absolute bananas.
I see what you did there. Actually, let's do Donkey Kong Country with a Christmas. I'm just curious what this thing will do. I'm going to do a broad view. I'll show you.
This idea is money in the bank, which is got to be, I mean, it has to be the reason that they did this on a sudden whim. It seems like they just said, well, we're just going to go ahead and do Christmas this year. And they announced it in October, which is pretty late fare for any theme park to announce a Christmas holiday that they've never had 2 months in advance.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
agree. It definitely seem like it was late. You would assume they would announce this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just curious as to like, I would assume if they wanted to do it for Nintendo, they could. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't think it'd be a rights issue. I think it would just come down to they just maybe aren't prepared for it yet. But
Yeah, maybe Nintendo has to be like involved in that, which would be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Jared, do you know if this is going to be a special ticketed event?
it's not. It's just there as the decoration in the park.
Even
So
better.
it's just, yeah. But I just think about like Celestial Park. If you've got like Christmas music playing like in the background and stuff like that, I think that sounds awesome. I would just hang out in Celestial Park. I know you haven't been yet, OG, but like George is even saying Celestial Park is really interesting because you don't expect it to be much, but like the music they play in there, the vibe it is, like I just imagine with a Christmas theme, it may just become one of the best Christmas areas. Dude, that would look awesome. The big Donkey Kong with like a hat there.
Can you imagine like Nintendo style music, but like it's Christmas? That would be sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
People go nuts.
Or bananas.
Yeah. I like that. Or bananas. They're gonna go bananas they're gonna go nuts for bananas, maybe.
Now, the Ministry of Magic, obviously it's in France. Does France celebrate Christmas in a different way than it does here? That would give them cause to theme it differently than how Christmas is celebrated in the United States?
That's a good question. I don't know. I imagine the Ministry of Magic would be very subtle. Like smaller trees. Like I also think Celestial Park needs to have a massive Christmas tree like they have at Epcot, maybe. But yeah, I wonder they'll probably be more subtle. Although like French Christmas carols could be kind of cool. They could bring a little like interesting little vibe to it.
I would dig that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think the potential is amazing for it. But
the roof. And Vinton, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you, Vinton, so much. All the support really means a lot to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. But yeah, that's all the stuff I have to talk about. Unless you guys got anything else you want to, unless you want me to plug anything else into the AI, we can create some stuff here.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Jared, with Tron having a whopping $27 global opening,
right?
What say you? Is this thing dead in the water in terms of theme park expansion? I can't imagine you'd say anything other than the answer we're all thinking.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen the movie. It has not performed. What did it make? Like 50?
It made $60 million worldwide.
60 million. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think visually it looks very appealing. I like the visuals of Tron, but I think given that you both had like the potential things for like you could have put in Tomorrowland would have been Fantastic Four and Tron, and both of those basically, I don't know if you'd call Fantastic Four a flop, but it's not going to be profitable. I don't think we see any more Tron movies, and I don't think they do anything else in the parks with it. Although it would be cool in Tomorrowland. I would be okay. I've said Tomorrowland could be a cool vibe if it was a retro version of like the 50s or 60s or 80s. That's like an alternate universe type of thing. You don't have to have an IP with that, but they probably want to. But I would be okay with that. I think that vibe would be pretty cool.
And actually, that Tesla diner kind of has that vibe. It kind of has like it's like a 50s diner, but it has like that Tron futuristic Tesla like aesthetic though. Still, it's a cool little spot.
I want to check that. Oh, hold on. We got gifted over here by Lucas and Disney. Thank you, sir. I think that's the first time there's gifted membership on this channel. Thank you
awesome.
Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. If anybody gets a gifty in there, just let us know. I don't know if it tells me on my end or not. I see green in the chat now, so we have some memberships there. So welcome.
And John, yes, I do live stuff all the time, pretty regularly, like once a week or so. But I don't have a schedule though. So just put just smash the bell. I know that sounds like so cliche, but just best way to find out is to put notifications on, because I don't have a schedule, because a lot of times I have guests on and it depends on their schedules as well. So I don't want to like lock in certain days. So, but yeah.
OG and I are the same way. I don't have a set schedule for any, like, I need to do more live streams, but I enjoy it with like having like people to kick it off of too. It's a lot more fun than just like, I've done them on my own and I can do them, but it's kind of fun to have like, you get to chat, you get to bounce ideas off of, and then Slimer brings up a random Tesla bot topic and you just start using Google AI art.
Then you start going down the wormhole and all kinds of.
I mean, I didn't think we were going to talk about spirits and aliens, but hey, I'm always down for it. Like I enjoy it.
I did a video with Drew the Disney dude the other night, right? and we got
that's
into
right, yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and we got into dinosaurs on other planets. So it's fun when these
Oh, really?
conversations go, yeah. and Drew was so down. He was like, "Oh, dude, 100%. They exist on other planets, 100%." I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Vinton
it.
says totally agree, Jared. Well, and I think like I love I have a lot of varied interests. Like I love talking theme parks, but I could talk your head off about fitness. I could talk it off about, AI technology, or if you want to talk about pyramids and ancient civilizations, like I'm down for all sorts of stuff. So I don't necessarily like to just only talk about certain things. And like you'll lose some people in chat, but the people that are there that like it, it's a lot of fun. Like on Conductor's channel, where we have the bidet jokes for. Well, that was actually George's channel. That was like for an hour and a half of just making Conductor really uncomfortable.
Oh, I love it.
That's
I love
great.
it. But you know what's crazy though is that not a lot of creators dive into this stuff. So especially in our theme park space. So I think it's pretty cool. I think the audience embraces it because it's something so different. And as theme park fans, we're all very creative, like minded people. So this kind of stuff is like right up our alley. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great, dude.
So I feel to make Tesla bots fighting like BattleBots. Dude, I would watch this so much. Like UFC becomes BattleBots. I think
that
it's
would be sick. Dude, that would be sick.
Somebody would have to make a real Ed 209 for Robocop. I want to see what kind of damage one of those would do.
Now, Jared, with your Google Gemini, can you do animation like Seymour does?
You can, but I think I can do like 2 or 3 a month on my plan. You have to upgrade to like the $250 a month. We could use Sora, but Sora's we can try Sora if you guys want to mess with some video, but it takes a minute to generate it.
Oh, because I was gonna say if we can get the Tesla bots in action.
Here, I'll put the prompt into Sora and see if it'll do. Lately, everything I do in Sora just like it says it's been copyrighted, like you can't do it.
Oh, it's kind of Tesla might raise a red flag then.
I'm gonna do let's see. I'm gonna tell it to do robotic AI fighting robots in a cage match. Surely that's not gonna trigger anything. Okay, it's making it, so we'll see what it does. Thank you again, Luca. I see the green in the chat. Appreciate that very much, and your guys' support. Thank you guys for hanging out here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love when the chat's going and we're going, and I actually like when it's hard to keep up with the chat. That's a good thing to have. A good problem to have. Lucas in Disney says, "I'm telling you right now, anyone who enjoys watching BattleBots AI will just end up witnessing Skynet type of robots attacking humans." I know, but also we learn how they fight and then we adapt. Now here's the question: would you guys like? I think it's going to be coming where people are going to make a choice about getting the chip. Are you guys getting the chip?
Which chip?
Like an implant, like Elon's talked about that.
Oh, Neuralink?
Yeah.
No, not Neuralink, because Neuralink is a fix for cognitive issues. But I gifted 5 people, not Kiki and Luca. Didn't Kiki and Luca also give 5?
On my channel, Kiki and Luca. Let me see. We had a few. Let me see. Hold on one sec. Yeah. Lucas gifted 5 to capture the magic.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and I think you said Lucas, right? Jared, I believe when you read it, I thought I heard you say Lucas, but
I think I said Lucas and Disney. If I said it wrong, I apologize. Lucas and Disney, that was to get to the 5. So if I got that wrong, I apologize.
I think because where Orange Group 55 said, "I appreciate you, Kiki and Luca." That was because Kiki and Luca complimented OG, saying that his positivity rubs off on people.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
my apologies. It was Lucas
to.
and Disney. I apologize. I did not mean to give false credit. I apologize. Thank you, Lucas and Disney. I saw Luke. I see L's and I see Disney, and my brain I can't comprehend it. Listen, I have kids that I had to put to bed, and I'm tired. I don't know. I'm just a streamer on the internet trying to get by in here. Let's see if I can figure out how to. I've never used Sora on the desk. Oh, there it is on the desktop. Let's see if it's done yet.
I love this stuff. So
okay,
much.
it's still working. Oh, I can actually show you guys. Okay, I will show you something. I made some retro commercials before it got unfun. Let's see here.
Call 4. Tomorrow is calling, and
that?
It starts at Epcot. Explore worlds of innovation, taste dishes from across the globe, and end the night under a sky of color. Plan your tomorrow today. Call 4. Tomorrow is calling.
Sick.
Wow.
And then I did this one.
Road. Get ready to hang on tight.
Rolling through the canyon, lightning
That's
on the track.
crazy.
Big thunder's coming, you can't hold it back.
It's the wildest ride in the wilderness, only at Magic Kingdom Park.
Thunder's coming.
Road.
That's crazy. That none of that is real. None of that
I
ever
know.
happened.
I also did Jaws.
It's back, and it's hungrier than ever. Jaws the ride at Universal Studios Florida. Bigger, badder, splasher. Ride the legend today in Amity Village. Now open. Call 1-800-UNIVERSAL for vacation. It's back.
Oh my god.
It
Dude,
is
that's
absolutely-
sick.
this one's probably the best.
Buckle up, time travelers. Blast into tomorrow on the all-new Back to the
I want it
Future the
back.
Ride at Universal Studios Orlando. Rocket through the past, outrun a roaring T-Rex, and hang on as you streak into the future. Buckle.
Oh, dude.
Tomorrow is calling.
Speaking of Back to the Future, they're going to do a nationwide re-release of Back to the Future, the original one, on October 31st to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the movie.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Lucas and Disney. I don't. If those are sad faces, I apologize. I apologize. I feel bad now. I'm sorry. Lucas and Disney. Thank you very much for the 5 gifted, and I will. You can feel free to yell at me in the chat. I got that wrong. I apologize, but no. That thing's still working. See all these ones it won't do, like, and it was just like 1980s pop song, like all these different things. Like it won't do it. I did. Let's see. This one too.
The power of your adventure.
Super Nintendo World has landed at Universal's Epic Universe. Step through the warp pipe, race Mario, team up with Luigi, and take on Bowser. Then barrel into the new Donkey Kong Country and hang on for a minecart run like never before.
Like it's insane what it can do.
That is awesome, dude. Oh, and now Kiki and Luca. He just gifted a 5 for the Capture the Magic memberships. There we go. There we go.
Thank you, Kiki. through my fumbling through there. So you guys are both gifted. I appreciate both. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I apologize yet
Thanks,
again.
guys.
He says, okay. He goes, there, I fixed it. Okay. My apologies. No, thank you very much. It's fun having you guys, everybody hang out here. Anybody that wants to gift anything is always greatly appreciated. If this thing won't take 3 hours, let's see. Is there anything? What is
Gotta love the scent. Sun's out, bricks warm under the kicks, and the clock in front of me says it's go time. Gotta love the scent of fresh popcorn mixing with the flowers here. Gates swing open like they know who I am, and there it is, Main Street, leading straight to the sun's out.
I think that was GTA Disney.
GTA
love
Magic
it.
Kingdom.
All
Well,
right,
I mean, recently there's been fights at the parks like it's GTA.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that at all. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a moment because I don't know some of the stuff. See, some of the stuff Seymour was making, and some of that stuff was I saw like he's just making. I was like, what is that thing? And it shows up on my end, but it's kind of wild.
Seymour's really
Seymour
good at this
is
stuff.
he knows all those prompts. Like I was looking at some because you can actually see what other people make, and then you can emulate it off of that. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay.
Seymour is amazing with this stuff. He sends me stuff all the time. It's like, dude, Seymour. He's the
Like,
goat.
so you know how like the average person looks for a GIF, you know, they put a GIF, they look for it, pop it in, ha ha ha. No, this guy is using Sora to make his own GIFs. That's
Yeah.
how he-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seymour will literally group chat all of us with like a 60-minute like Pixar movie he did on Sora. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, well, there were people that were showing you can do it. You can literally make a short movie out of it. You can take the prompts and just
Mhm.
continue it and keep it going. Yeah, it's kind of wild. That thing is still working. Sora has gotten so stingy lately. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes. But yeah, you can tell it to make like a 1990s CRTV version of a cartoon or a commercial for something, and that's what I prompted it to do. So I said like Universal, Disney, all these songs. I don't think it does it now because I think I think ChatGPT said you had to submit and say you want to be taken out of it, and I think a lot of them took it out of it. So I don't. So for a while there were a ton of things that people were making, and now you're not seeing near as much.
Well, look at all the videos of Stephen Hawking doing 900-degree wheelies
There was
on
one
a
I
half
saw
pipe.
of Mr. Rogers and Stephen Hawking doing slap fight.
Yeah.
And Mr. Rogers just smacked him. I was like,
Oh my god! Did you see the one with Mr. Rogers and Tupac?
yes, I did. Because I tried to
Yeah.
make it. It wouldn't let me.
Oh man! And Mr. Rogers is like advising Tupac on the "Hit 'Em Up" song. Like, I think you should say that you effed his, and like.
I also saw a bunch of Bob Ross ones where Bob Ross is painting random things. One of them was like Bob Ross is painting like Tupac rapping, and he like was saying the lyrics. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I love how people instantaneously went to Stephen Hawking, Michael Jackson, Bob Ross, and Tupac.
Yes.
Like that's where our collective imagination is when it comes to artificial intelligence. We're screwed.
Oh yeah. Okay, I did make one here. I'll play this one. I did one. I told what would Walt Disney think of the theme parks now, and it doesn't really look like Walt, but you get the idea of it.
It's all storefronts now. I wanted a place where families could be together, not an advertisement for every franchise. Half these characters, I don't even know. Feels like we've traded wonder for merchandise. Oh, it's all storefronts now.
Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love how he's in front of Avengers Campus. That's crazy.
Why does he look like Hitler?
Yeah, he doesn't look quite like Walt. Looks a little weird there.
Oh my god.
I just want this thing to do the battle bots. It's still making it. It's not saying it won't make it, so I suppose it is making it. Although I usually use this on my phone, I don't usually use it on the desktop. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not. Let me check.
Well, knowing your desktop, it's definitely going to go slower.
This isn't even the one. The other one. This is the backup computer because I spilled Coke Zero on my other one, like the clumsy person that I am sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
speaking of Walt, though, that's always something I really wanted to experience, like him coming back and like giving us his opinion on stuff. Like, I want to know, what do you think about this, Walt? What do you think about that, Walt? I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't want to be with him walking into Epcot because that is totally
no.
I think it would be one of those where, we've talked about before, where it's like you have this image of Uncle Walt, and I think. I mean, you'd be like smoking a pack, walking through the parks, drinking some scotch or something, just start yelling at people, like just not liking what it is. I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see what that would be like. I feel like they would shut it down very quickly if it was like an AI version of Walt. It'd be like, get it out of here because he's going to fire everybody in the company or something.
Oh my god!
So Walt's alive, and he's finishing up his tour of the magic of Walt Disney World, and whoever's giving him the tour, let's say it's Bob Iger, he's like. And that's the third and last park here. Yep, Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, and Animal Kingdom. We've done them all, Walt.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What about that other one? I don't know.
That's it. We only built 3.
Yeah,
we can't do any more. It's done.
And they utilize the Tesla robot as like the main foundation for Walt, and then they put his face over it and stuff. So he's like super strong. He can like swim the rivers of America.
That's a danger. See, my thing is, if you're gonna make these bots, you gotta make them weak. We can't have these like ultra strong robotic AI powered bots just walking around. You need to be able to defeat these things if they go rogue. Like you gotta. I've seen Terminator. I know what they're gonna end up doing one day.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. What a time to be alive, though, right?
Isn't that crazy?
If you think about it, it is kind of crazy.
We were born in a time where we're going to see we have seen artificial intelligence come to fruition, but we're going to see it potentially evolve into sentient being. And I think it's going to happen sooner than later. I mean, the way that this thing has been rapidly evolving since what was the name of that one computer that used to play chess? I don't remember,
but I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. I can't remember I can't remember the name of it though.
And it would play against like human beings and stuff.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And now we have artificial intelligence that's doing like quantum mechanics.
It's crazy. Well, I'm working on AI George, so stay tuned.
That would be, I mean, AI versions of yourself would be interesting. Like to reply, like if you're just sitting there, like you gotta like when I went away, but there's an AI version of me just bobbing along, just like part of the conversation, but not really. Like that's where it would be interesting as a streamer. Like you have a like standby mode, and it's prompted with things that you normally would say, but it would only interject them at moments like where Slimer, you say something and it's something I would say. Like that, I think, is where you could see it on the live streaming side, which would be wild. If there's like AI versions of you, and then what if it goes rogue and you didn't actually say it?
I'd program in like what's his name, Max Headroom from the 1980s. You guys remember Max Headroom?
Oh, I remember.
I don't.
No,
Max Headroom? You don't remember Max?
I don't.
He has like the blonde hair and the glasses. Matt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love Max Headroom.
Ah, dang it! All right, I don't. This thing's still going. I don't want to wait around all night for this thing.
Well, we can premiere it on the next one, I guess. You know,
I do want to do. I think what I may do before our next one, because I think we're going to go live again Thursday with George. Is the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do Thursday, but yeah, he wanted to do.
That's right. You're gonna okay. Is I may try and do a compilation as like the beginning of the live stream that has a little reel of those going. I think it'd be kind of cool to do.
That'd be great.
But John says, "Are you all 3 season pass holders?"
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slimer is now. Yes, I think all of us are. Yep. I'm not at Disneyland, but over in the Orlando parks. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So for clarification, OG is a Disneyland pass holder. I'm a Walt Disney World pass holder, and Jared is also. And I think Jared, you also have Universal pass too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So do I. I got uni as well. Platinum.
Yeah. He's a platinum holder because he goes every weekend.
Yeah, I'm there every weekend. I love it.
Yeah.
He just sends pictures of him getting drinks in the theme parks like a cool guy. I'm like, man,
he's like a cool guy. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. You know.
I'm having my 4th sugar rush at Universal today.
You know, why not, right?
Rush or something there, yeah. So I'll work on the AI. I'll you know what? It may be a fun segment. Is there's like inputs. What do we want to see in the next AI thing, and that become a thing, part of the show. That's kind of fun. I know people don't like the AI art, but it's kind of cool to like imagine what things could look like, especially like themed to like areas, like if you say the Lord of the Rings in Epic Universe, what that could look like or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
If you fed it the right stuff, but. All right, we'll go in and end this. We've been going for a couple hours here, and I'm gonna say I know it. I know the minute I end this thing's gonna get done. I just know it. All right, I'll share with you guys. If it doesn't happen this time, we'll do it on the next one here. But before we go, let everybody know where you guys can check out my fine guest here. And well, we're live streaming on OG as well. I'm a guest over there as well. It's all one big happy family. But OG, thanks for being here. And where can everybody find you?
Jared, it's always a great time with you and Slimer. Thank you so much for the great conversation. Today was a fun one. I really like all the AI nerdy stuff.
I do too.
Man, I love this stuff, man. I can go days and days on this. We could do dinosaurs next time. Whatever you guys want to do. Pyramids. Let's go. You know. But yeah, it was a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching. A lot of comments today. A lot of gifted memberships and super chats. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you. You can find me here on Orange Grove 55 on YouTube, talking parks, studio, and all that good stuff. And yeah, so thanks again, everybody, and have a great evening. Take it over, Slimer.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think you're right. I mean, even the interaction in the chat, all the gifted memberships, all the super chats, stickers, all that stuff we greatly appreciate all that. And Slimer, where can everybody find you? And also, thank you for being here. Good, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, thanks again for setting this up, man. I really appreciate it. Fun convo. I can suspect that AI is going to be a regular part of theme park conversations in the very near future. So, yeah, get ready for that one. But again, boys, girls in the chat, I really appreciate you guys. You guys were really fun. I mean, we had a lot of comments today.
Yeah.
It was popping in there. So I really appreciate it. Everybody stopped in today, came to check us out. Cassandra, good night, and go see Tron. Actually enjoyed it. But as far as where you can find me on Orange Go 55 Network. You can find me on Capture the Magic. You can find me on Hollow Gelato. And you can find me on X and Instagram at SlimeSquare84.
There we go.
Awesome stuff. And before we go, just to remind everybody, if you're looking for some great t-shirts, check out CTM Apparel. That is my company. We make shirts. We actually print them all in-house. We don't use third-party printers. But if you're looking for theme park shirts, nerd shirts, we're going to have some West Coast stuff as well because OG input there and George and some of those other ones. So we got some theme park shirts. And right now, if you go over there, and it's at ctmapparelco.com, and if you order over there, use the promo code YouTube, you'll save 20% off of your order. And if you order $49 more, you get free shipping as well. So you can go check that out. And then I think what I'm going to do next time, I was going to do it tonight and I forgot, but I think what I'll do next time is if there's 5 or more super chats, whoever super chats gets entered in to win a free shirt. Like every live stream, somebody gets a free shirt.
That's a great idea.
Sounds fun. That's a good idea.
Like
yeah.
And the more, I guess you could say the more super chats or something you send, the more chances you get. And then live on the stream, someone wins a shirt and we'll ship it out to you. I was going to do it tonight and I completely forgot, but I think on the next one we will do that. So, and if you guys have any shirt ideas, I'm always open, but I think we'll do some, I'm talking with OG and those guys about some specific ones for the West Coast. Because I don't know the West Coast as well. That's right. That's right. Just like that. But yeah, so
well, you know, actually, a Westcott shirt would be pretty cool.
I actually like that idea. I actually I was playing with an idea of that, of doing something with that. That is a
make it in every color because OG's not going to wear any other shirt than that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just have like every color, black, white, blue, green, whatever. And
yeah, I like black shirts with the white ink. I don't know, lately I've been wearing a lot more black shirts, which I never have before. It's just one of those things lately. I don't know as to why, but
classic. It's classic.
It is classic. But all right, well, that's going to do it for the show. Again, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you for, I'm going to go, we had some people that got I see here, we have K-Mac and Baxter, Pokey Thoughts, Eagle Time. We got a whole lot of members in here now. And thank you, Kiki and Luca. And also thank you, Lucas and Disney, for the gifted memberships, and everybody else that was here as well. Definitely appreciate it. And let's see real quick. Now, Natasha says a shirt idea with epic shirt with all the lands. That is something I've been trying to work on. I'm trying to figure out a way to like implement that. But yeah, we're always open to ideas. We'll figure that out. And we will see you guys on the next one. We're going to be live again Thursday. It'll be myself, Slimer, and Mr. Hollow Gelato, George, who never has any opinions. He's always very quiet.
Yeah, shy guy.
Yeah.
He needs to come out of his shell a little bit.
I really wish he would like speak for himself more. Really, be willing to say things. But we're going to go off here. But thank you guys for hanging out. We will see you guys later. Bye. There we go.